Step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Very good morning, you beautiful souls. Welcome to it. Thank you so much for choosing to start your day with us. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it and how much fun we're going to be having. It is a Thursday. My name is Graham Richards. Welcome from myself and the rest of this amazing team that we get to represent today. So being a Thursday, the weekend is, yes, just around the corner. So what better way to get it started than by tuning into your Feel Good breakfast show for 3 hours of Feel Good. Get your dancing shoes on. We do like a little dance on the show, you know that. We've got a few performances in store. Sanele Mkhize is going to be gracing us with his presence, and then of course we catch up with extreme swimmer extraordinaire and all-round awesome guy Ryan Stramrud. He's going to be in the studio to dish the latest on his escapades. So hopefully you're ready for a little bit of adventure, some great cooking, and of course a lot of fun and some phenomenal music. But let's hear from the rest of this amazing team. Good morning, you beauties.
Good morning, you beauty. Good morning to you, South Africa. So good to start our day with you this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. My name is Jamie Lee Domberg.
And I'm Ryle. Good morning, and thank you indeed. We're almost through to the weekend. We've got 2 more days, but before we do, we thought we'd wake up and join you for this epic Thursday, of course. And we're chatting to you on social medias to find out, what if you had a theme song would you arrive to? So what would be the soundtrack to your life, and which song would it be? Jamie, have you got a soundtrack
This is such a weird question, because you always get asked about, like, if you had a character that would play you. So a song, I don't think I would have a specific song. I'd need an album, because I was
excuse me,
no,
wow.
Not in that way, just because like your life goes through such different stages. And actually I stole this from Chase, like the sound guy, because he told me this. But your life goes through so many changes, and then you don't have a set song. Imagine I had like a boom, 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 boom song, and the next day I'm like, but it would probably be a gospel song like Amazing Grace, just like the grace that carried me through every season. What about you?
I feel you. I think for me it's quite simple. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, it's the dun, 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 dun. Rocky, it's got to be for me, come on.
Why do I feel like you've waited forever to answer this question?
It's my moment.
This is your moment. I've always wanted to sing this.
I'm secretly asking the guys upstairs if they can just sneak that in one time when I come in the show. I just want to walk on like that. I wish. Please, guys,
Greg,
please.
Please do not do this for Ryle. We don't need this, but you let us know. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 is where the conversation is happening on our social media platforms. But right now, it is the eye of the tiger. It is Graham with his news headlines.
Thank you so much, guys. Plenty of fun still to be had, but let's get down to business first and get into our national news headlines. Here in South Africa, Health Minister Sanele Mkhize last night announced that the first COVID-19 vaccines would arrive in South Africa on Monday. A flight with the vaccines will leave India on Sunday, and he said it was a massive achievement to obtain the first batch of vaccines less than a year after the outbreak of the pandemic in South Africa. Some 1.25 million frontline healthcare workers will be the first in line to get the jab, followed by a further 2.5 million other essential workers, and then phase 3 will target 22.5 million from the rest of the population. The families of 4 Netcare healthcare workers and a pilot that died tragically in a helicopter accident last week were yesterday honoured in a private ceremony at the crash site in the uThukela district. 5 indigenous trees representing the deceased were planted at the scene of the accident in remembrance of their lives, and they were Dr. Sia Mkhize, a cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Rudolf Mononyane, an anaesthetist, a specialist theatre nurse in Port Kaba, and advanced life support paramedic Joshua Farrance, and then Netcare 911 pilot Mark Strockstreiter. And again, we send our condolences to their family and colleagues. And on the international front, wildlife experts in Botswana have discovered at least 5 more elephants that have died mysteriously in the Moremi Game Reserve, the Okavango Delta. They've not ruled out that the cause could be the same waterborne bacteria to have killed more than 330 elephants last year. The animals were found collapsed knees first. Samples will now be collected to determine the cause of death, and poaching was ruled out as the elephants' tusks were still intact. Then Boeing's 737 MAX plane is safe to return to service in the UK and the European Union. Regulators have now confirmed this ends a 22-month flight ban for the jet, which followed 2 crashes, causing 346 deaths. The plane has already been cleared to resume flying in North America and Brazil. The senior manager at Boeing's 737 plant in Seattle in the US earlier warned that recertification had happened too quickly, but regulators in the US and Europe insist their reviews have been thorough and that the 737 MAX aircraft is now safe. And now, the latest news on Kataza, the most famous baboon in the world, Cape Town's beloved baboon. South Africa's most famous baboon, of course, and Cape Town's beloved Kataza is doing fine since arriving at his new home at the Riverside Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre in Limpopo last weekend. It was in his best interest to relocate him, and the SPCA said last week, citing how he had continued to raid residential homes and failed to integrate with any of the baboon troops in the close vicinity. Baboon Solutions founder Terry Kaur said Kataza was very comfortable in his specially designed travel box and on arrival in Limpopo was immediately placed in his quarantine enclosure where he'll remain for at least 40 days. The latest news is that he has settled in well, he's in good health and has a healthy appetite, all good signs, particularly favouring papaya at the moment. It is summer after all. Riverside Centre's chief Miasventa and Kataza are now in a safe, said that Kataza is now in a safe place surrounded by people who do care for him and who have welcomed him with open arms, and we wish Kataza the very best in his new home. And he deserves to be happy and live a normal baboon life in the wild, which of course is the end game there. So congratulations on their efforts. Right now though, let's see who needs congratulations and kudos on the sporting front. Let's start with cricket. A century by Fawad Alam helping Pakistan bounce back on day 2 of the first Test match against the Proteas. They're playing out at the National Stadium in Karachi. The hosts took a first innings lead of 88 runs as they ended the day on 308 for 8 against South Africa, with Alam reaching 109 runs off 245 deliveries. So a dogged performance there. Azhar Ali and Fahim Ashraf both making 50s as Pakistan recovered on that second day. Day 3's action between Pakistan and South Africa will continue from 7 a.m. this morning. And on to more cricket news. The Warriors beat the Cape Cobras by 81 runs based on the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method in the Momentum One Day Cup Pool B, playing out at Senrest Park in Potchefstroom yesterday. Opener Matthew Bredska hitting 55 and Sinetemba Ashile reaching 64 not out to help the Warriors post 226 for 6 in their rain-reduced 44 overs. So the Cape Cobras failed to reach their target after being bowled out for just 148. There'll be one day cup fixture to look out for tonight. That's as the Lions take on the Warriors, kick-starting at 10 a.m. On to local football. 10-man Mamelodi Sundowns edged out Black Leopards 2-1 at the Toyandou Stadium in Limpopo in the Premier Soccer League last night. Peter Salolile scoring a brace for the defending champions, with the winner coming during injury time. Masandawana remaining at the top of the PSL standings, now 3 points ahead of SuperSport United and Swallows FC. Still going to be a tight fight at the top, respectively in second and third. Premier Soccer League action will then continue again tomorrow. A little further afield, bottom of the table, Sheffield United caused a major midweek English Premier League upset after stunning Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford last night. The Red Devils needed a win to regain that top spot in the league after Manchester City's 5-0 win over West Bromwich over the last couple of days. So the goals by Kean Bryan and Oliver Burke confirming the victory for the Blades, who remain at the bottom of the standings, though, despite that win. And other results from last night, Everton and Leicester, they drew 1 apiece. And then Chelsea, under new management, of course, of their coach Thomas Tuchel, were held to a goalless draw against Wolves. Tonight in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur host defending champions Liverpool. That one kicking off at 10 p.m. See me get a little bit nervous there. And that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take a look at your beautiful skies and the weather.
Thank you so much, G. It is that time of the morning where we show off the sunrise photos that you have sent us. Now, this morning we start off with a regular contributor, Ntokozo Theo Makatini from Johannesburg, who is showing off some stunning sun rays as the sun starts to slowly rise in the distance. We then head over to the coast where Paziza Pezi Nkeba from East London shared this lovely view of the ocean as the sun rises on the horizon. Now, East London, you can expect a pleasant day today with a maximum of 23 degrees degrees. Please do continue to share your part of the world with us on our Expresso Facebook page. We really do love interacting with you and seeing how your day starts. Now, some international global news. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, almost 2/3 of people around the world now view climate change as a global emergency. That has been the key finding from the largest opinion poll yet conducted on tackling global warming. Now, more than 1 million people in 50 countries took part in the survey, with almost half the participants aged between 14 and 18. Conserving forest and land emerged as the most popular solution for tackling the issue. The poll, called the People's Climate Vote, was organized by the United Nations Development Programme in conjunction with Oxford University. The organizers distributed poll questions through adverts in mobile gaming apps across 50 countries between October and December last year. Very interesting find, but bringing it back home, it's time to have a first look at the temperatures for the day. We kick it off with Polokwane. Your low is 18, peaking at 26. Thunder showers are expected for you today. Umabela, rain is coming your way as well, with a 60% chance of rain, with a low of 18 and a high of 25. Pretoria, your minimum is 17 with a maximum of 25. If you do find yourself in Johannesburg today, expect a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 23. Mahikeng, 19, 27. Klerksdorp, you can find a low of 18 and a high of 27, and thunder showers also coming your way today. Kimberley ranges from 16 to 28. Bloemfontein, 15, 23, and then coming through with a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 22 is Richards Bay, and thunder showers can also be expected. Pietermaritzburg, 17, 21. South Africa's playground Durban ranges from 21 to 24. Umtata, 13, 21. And of course, as I mentioned, East London ranges from 17 with a maximum of 23 today. Cradock, 13, 28. The friendly city of Port Elizabeth, PE, ranges from 16 to 24. So lots of sunshine coming your way today, Port Elizabeth. George, 13, 22. And if you do find yourself in the mother city, Cape Town today, it ranges from 13 to 22. Worcester, 9, 34. Sutherland coming through with a low of 8 and a high of 27. And then last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 17 to 35 today. But of course, whatever the weather, wherever you find yourself, make sure to keep it locked right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Get stuck in there, lad. Get in there. Do you know why? Because you're going to burn it off today, dude.
I am indeed.
You're going to burn it.
You know who's joining us. We've got Ryan Stramrud in the building, man. The guy's going to take us through an epic core workout. And he's also teaching us how to have a high-carb meal. Not low-carb, high-carb meal. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's an endurance swimmer. So the kinds of feats that he tackles, he needs that energy. And he will burn it, my friend. And then Sanele Mkhize is in the house. He's got some swag. He is unbelievably talented. Mzansi absolutely loves him. And you will get a taste of why he has become so popular and why we are so proud to have him in studio this morning. He'll be performing just for you. So stick around. We're going to get our Just Rewards. Hopefully you'll do the same. We'll see you in a moment. Nice, eh?
Only you can make my day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. Happy Thursday to all of you, but we are in for a treat this morning. Hailing from Untuzuma in Durban, musician Sanele Mkhize is making his mark and is poised to dominate Mzansi's charts. Now, citing artists such as John Legend, Brian McKnight, and our own Ringo Madlangozi as his influences, his sound has touched millions in Mzansi, and he's joining us this morning to share his talents and more about his career. Please give a warm Expresso welcome to Sanele. It is so good to be able to connect with you. I mean, we've obviously seen you on a very popular singing show. A lot has happened since then. How have you been? Take us through that journey.
Wow, it's been an amazing journey, obviously. Oh, firstly, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's such a very daunting and, exciting experience. But ever since that time, I've been great. I've been doing my music, been trying to find my feet in the industry, but everything has been well, man. I'm really, really good.
Take us through that journey of singing. Where did singing first start for you, and when were you able to, just hone your craft and say, this is who I am, this is the music that I'm putting out, and this is the sound that I'm putting out there for South Africa and the world to listen to?
Wow. Way back, since I was a kid, I'm a natural born singer. So I think from the early ages of like 5, 6, that's when I knew that I can actually sing, At school, as a young boy, I used to be like the best singer, well, in my mind. But yeah, I think ever since I can remember, and I've grown from, experience from after an experience. So yeah, I can definitely say from a very young age.
And the beauty of you not only singing, but also using your voice as a platform to educate. I know that you are actively involved with, gender-based violence, in that aspect. Why was that so important for you? And tell us a bit more about that.
Right. So basically, there's a song that we collaborated as the men and the artists in South Africa. Specifically, your Zex Bantwinis, your Ngube Wambatas, Kamtet was like, big names. And we came together.
With Sanele at the end. Just put it in there as well.
Yeah. We came together to take a stand against gender-based violence, And at that time, there was a lot of violence, towards women and children, So we had to voice out something and just make the awareness out there that, there are men that are like us who really are there to protect and look after our women and children. So it was very important for me because I was taking a stand against, gender-based violence. So yeah, it was great.
Kudos to you, and thank you so much for doing that and using your voice to spread such positivity around an issue like that. But bringing it back to EP, Utando, when can we expect an album? Is that in the cards for this year?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm actually working on new music. So I'm a gospel cat by nature. And then I went to the competition, and then there was a demand for me to, kind of like do something different. So this is what the EP is about. It's about me just breaking out of my shell, and just letting people know that I'm actually versatile in my music, and my skills as well. But yeah, now I'm just going back to my roots, where I'm from and what I've been doing, because I'm a gospel kid, So I'm working on a gospel album, which is really exciting for me, and I hope people are going to love it.
Love it. What did you prepare for us today on the show?
Okay, so I'm gonna do my very first single, which is Uyingwele, and then I'm gonna do 2 songs from my new EP, which is titled Utando and Tembanjalo.
Well, listen, we are excited. We are so glad that you're with us this morning. We can't wait to see and hear what Sanele Mkhize has got in store for Mzansi and for the rest of us here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And we'll be treating you to his powerful music throughout the morning, as well as indulging in some fun and games. So be sure to keep it locked right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Now, of course, we're going from something soulful indeed, and we're going to be chatting to Sanele a little bit later and catching up with all the good tunes that he does have. But from soulful tunes, we're heading over to soulful food for today's soul. And of course, we're celebrating the sweet flavors of summer with our Clover Bliss Strawberry Pop tarts. Does that not sound like a dessert and a snack to die for? And it's definitely going to tantalize those taste buds. Now, they are great for when it comes to freezing, reheating, and when in need of a quick on-the-go snack. And to show us how it's done, Jenny Morris is in the building. Jenny, how are you doing this morning?
Well, hello, darling. I'm very happy to be standing next to you. Now come and stand social distance, but close
Social
enough.
distancing, and I'm coming close to you because I believe you're going to get me involved in this one. You're putting me to work.
Yes, get your muscles into that egg.
I'm ready. Okay, so must
Beat
I
it.
whisk this up, beat it up so long? Okay.
Yes. Now
So
this is you.
I'm excited about this. And one thing is because I never had this when I was growing up. I used to see it on TV, they'd speak about it.
Yeah.
Can I get a Pop-Tart for lunch? And I was like, what are those things? So
They're
thank you
delicious.
for finally educating me. I'm so excited for this one. But let me beat my egg while you get to
You
work.
beat your egg, and what I've done is I've lightly warmed my pot because I want to make a nice little roux. And
Okay.
by roux, I mean I want to just thicken my corn flour and take 2 beautiful cupfuls of this Clover Bliss. I think this is strawberries and cream, but you could use any kind of flavor. There's a
can.
lemon meringue one, which is to die for.
There's a lemon meringue, there's a
Yes.
hazelnut as well, I believe.
Love
there's
hazelnut.
yeah, definitely. And then, of course, everybody's favorite choc chip as well. So these are also alternatives I would imagine that you could use instead of the strawberry, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, the sky's the limit. There's a lovely selection. Now, what you want to do with this is you want to just make a paste, which I've already made up front because you want to cool it.
Okay.
I'm going to just pop that down.
Jenny, quick question. I
Yes,
might have
darling.
missed that first ingredient. Was that milk that you threw into the pot?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got some clover milk there. And we have some corn flour. And now we have some pastry. See, baby, this is all just quick. And I could just lick that
Are
out.
we,
right now.
are we done with the
Of
mix
course we
already?
have, because
okay.
I'm clever. I've made one up front,
Okay,
sweetheart.
I see how you roll. I like it. I like it.
Now,
So what's
talking
next?
about rolling is we're going to just take puff pastry, any brand, whatever you want
Yeah.
to do, or you could make it yourself. But I mean, I'm not that stupid. I'm a clever girl. You know, there's lots of where
It's
that
not your
came
first
from.
rodeo.
No, it's not my first rodeo. So we want to go half of the pastry. Now, you could actually cut that into slices, but I want one less seal, so I'm going to just fold mine over.
Okay, I got you. So
Okay.
you're doing the one bottom or top half of
That's
the side
it.
right there.
That's it.
Okay,
So
I got you.
It's like painting by numbers. It's simple. It's 1, 2,
Yeah.
3. And then this is the paste. You see, this is your beautiful, blissful paste.
Okay, so with the milk and that cornstarch after
Yes.
coming out the pot, it almost looks like a thick gelatinous
Yes, it
yogurt
does.
style.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool.
Do you want to come and spread some jam next to Mama? Come on.
Jenny Morris asked me to
Yes.
spread jam. You do not say no.
And
I'm
you-
here to serve.
But you spread halfway, hey?
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so now while you're spreading, I'm pressing. So all you want to do is just press the sides, and you end up with this beautiful pocket. You see how easy
That's how
it
they
is?
make it so
Of
fancy,
course.
like they do on the magazines. Okay, it's just a fork.
Yes,
I thought
your
it was some
mother, your
fancy
granny used to do it like
contraption,
this.
or like one by one, they took a stick and got into the Zen mode.
But you could if you had time. I don't. Give me that thing
The
now.
sport one. Yes, ma'am. Here you go. All right, Jenny. By the way, how's my spreading going here? Are you?
Darling, you
approving?
spread beautifully.
Thank you very much.
Now, could you spread some more love onto that for Jen? That's okay.
Certainly,
Do I have that effect on you?
You're making me nervous in the kitchen, clearly. Everything's just falling all over the show. But let me carry on with my spread and keeping it halfway, right?
Yeah, keep it halfway. And as I say, you don't need to, I mean, you could cut and make a little cover, but I'm lazy. I only want to press 3.
I like you.
3
I
sides.
like
you know
that
what I'm
lazy
saying?
life. That can work for me.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to the kitchen, which I don't always have a lot of time for. So, although you're saying you're being lazy, you're also being efficient. And I think I'm
Absolutely.
love that.
Of course.
The fact that you can save us time in the kitchen, save us the time on thinking as well.
Exactly.
And also you can save me some embarrassment from when I
Darling.
do try and serve this to some of my guests.
No, your
Because now I
guests are
think
going to love you.
I know I'm going to be able to do this. It's not that hard at all, especially when it comes to pastries. There's always this
Gorgeous.
daunting, I don't know how to do it right. Is it going to flake? Is it going to be
Do
soggy?
you know what it is? It's that end result. One always looks at what happens at the end
Yeah.
of a dish, and you think it's like reading a recipe book. You look at the presentation, think, I can't do that, but just read the recipe, sweetheart.
Yeah,
This is
I am
easy.
with you there.
20 minutes in the oven. I mean, 1, 2, 3, but it won't happen without our Clover Bliss.
Of
Okay,
course,
flavors
course.
of your choice.
I also must imagine, though, that if we used, let's say, another alternative, we could even get creative with the innards. So instead of using
Absolutely.
jam, Peanut butter, chocolate paste, anything crazy?
Can you imagine peanut butter?
I was just thinking the same thing. Peanut butter with that hazelnut bliss.
This is good. We have 2 nuts and one little pillow. Love it. Now look at that. If you're nice.
So this is the final product. I mean, it looks like it comes straight out of the shop. That looks incredible.
Exactly, and this is really nice. You can fill lunch boxes with it. I mean, as you say, the sky's the limit. You can add any kind of filling that you want. Look at that.
Oh.
Does it get easier than that, sweet?
Pop-Tarts from Clover Bliss. You saw it right here. First, of course, head over to expressoshow.com if you're wanting to get some more of this recipe inspiration. And if you missed any of the steps, well, here is a quick recap while I bite into this goodness.
And I'll watch you work it off.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
As a parent, getting your kids back into a routine and keeping them happy, healthy, and also focused for a new school year can prove to be so difficult. I know everybody's saying, oh yes, we understand. But let's be honest, you know, we all have our ways of outsmarting our kids sometimes. Now, unbeatable parent Michelle Adams joins us this morning to chat about how you can show us how you outsmart your kids to stand a chance to win a 1,500 Rand Game Stores voucher in their hashtag Unbeatable Parent Challenge. Good morning, Michelle. How are you doing, Super Mom?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you guys?
We're
all
good.
good. How are you with Luca in school now? Okay, we'll get into that conversation a little later on, but her little one just went to big school this year, so it's a big thing in the home. But how difficult is it to get the kids back into the routine for the new school year, especially with the current lockdown status?
Well, I have 4 boys, so the challenge is that they're all different ages and they're all going to school at different times. James, who's in grade 4 this year, has been at home since the 15th of December. So the challenge is just keeping him as motivated and interested in school as possible. So I think that is where the big problem comes in, that the holiday has been very, very long and the kids weren't going to school every single day last year. So I'm just, at this point, I try and do one educational thing a day at least.
Oh, absolutely. And why I took a break to think it, because I still need help. It's a constant struggle. I always need help. And this is where you can come in, Michelle. For all the parents out there, me included, what are your top tips to ease the kids into the new school year?
I think the most important thing to me was making sure that they don't forget that reading, writing, painting, being creative are as important as playing on your phone, watching television. So, and I try and do the bit of a balance of that. So at least once a day, I try and do something where it's educational, where I go, okay, listen now, no more television, no more iPads, no more phones. It is now time to read. It's quiet time. Go outside, play in the sandpit if you have to. Please go kick a ball. There's a basketball hoop. Do those types of things. So keep them as active as possible. And also just reminding them of the constant things that they would do at school, reading being one of them. I'm a big challenge in the reading department. My sons don't want to read. They will read stories at night if I'm doing it, but they don't want to read on their own.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm just like trying every day to be as encouraging as possible. Read as much as you can, do as much as you can that are educational things, but fun.
I totally get it. I mean, children nowadays just want to be on their phones,
tablet.
constantly watching movies. It's very difficult to kind of reintroduce that element of structure into their life, you know, the structure that school would provide for them. Why did you want to be a part of the hashtag Unbeatable Parent Challenge this year?
I think, you know, like I don't see myself as an influencer really, but I have a large mommy following and I am very blunt and forward about my parenting style. And I mean, it's hard. Listen, I have 4 boys, I run my own business. It's really tough. And to keep the kids motivated is even harder. And I wanted them to have a relatable parent that they could really just like go like, oh, she's battling too. We're all kind of battling through this. We're all going to get through it. And our kids will go to school and they're going to be okay.
You are smart. Definitely smart. Also, I don't know how you do it with 4 boys because I would be just like, take them. But maybe you can share what are some of the ways you've been able to outsmart your kids, all 4 of them, in keeping them happy and also focused for the new school year ahead.
So I found in the last while, I found getting the boys involved with things have really made them want to do more things. So there's a sense of independence that they were longing for, and they didn't want me to do everything for them. So now if we're going to make smoothies, instead of me just making a smoothie, I go, okay, you guys make a smoothie, and then I lay in front of them all the ingredients that we are using in the smoothies, and I'm like, well, we add spinach and we add all those things that you don't always eat, but you don't know about them, but now you do, and it's kind of healthy, and you still drink it. So I kind of try to get them as involved as possible and make sure that they are part of what we're doing, and not just like it's me giving them the routine and be like, well, this is the structure for the day. I also like to give them options, but the options that work in my favor. So they think they have the options, but it's actually all in my favor.
You have it all planned out, but they do not know. So what kind of creative entries do you think the challenge will be looking out for in order to grab that 1,500 Rand voucher?
I think we're just looking for fun ways. I think relatable ways in which all parents are going to be ways they can share what they are doing, so all mommies can learn from your posts. And because we're not alone in this battle. There are so many moms that are battling to have to get their kids excited and ready for school again. And I know the holidays have been long, so I think just relatable posts like what we have in your actual home.
Michelle, you are now my friend, so I'm going to call you whenever I'm having trouble with Luca and my little one, because you have it all sorted. But I know you have a busy life and you have to get back to those kids. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your knowledge with us this morning.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thanks, guys, and good luck with your side. I know them going to school for the first time is such a challenge, but it's actually easier for them than what we think.
Take all the positive vibrations coming your way, Jamie Lee. And you at home can take part by capturing a photo or a video of how you're getting your children back to school this year. Simply post it on your Instagram or TikTok page, tagging @gamestores_SA and one of the competition influencers in your post when you enter, okay? Please do not forget to use the hashtag #UnbeatableParent to stand a chance to win. T's and C's found on expressoshow.com, and the competition runs until Saturday, 30 January 2021.
And also remember that Game Store's opening hours are Monday to Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday from 9 to 5, and Sunday and public holidays from 9 to 4.
Well, let's stay on topic here. I think all parents know the importance of this particular proverb for their children. Never stop learning, because life never stops teaching. Ain't that the truth? Preach it. Well, Nedbank are helping put your kids ahead of the pack as they head back to school this year. Save up to 10% in store on the widest range of quality school supplies at one of the best Waltons when using your Nedbank credit card. Plus, you can enjoy up to 55 days of interest-free credits.
The thing is, it's everything. I mean, they're talking everything here, from scissors to markers and all those things that the school kids are going to need. Those essential items that they're going to need throughout the year to get them started. Now, what you need to do is use the voucher code NEDWTNS08, which is probably on your screen right now, to get your discount with your credit card. And of course, this offer is only valid until the 31st of Jan. So you haven't got much time. Get those entries in, of course, or that take advantage of that deal. And the T's and C's can be found on nedbank.co.za. Hashtag, here's to you, Mzansi, for being A+ back to school parents.
Here's to you, can't work from home workers. Bo Terminator, cause every meeting key, I'll be back. The mask for getting shoppers. Hi. And you, who go the extra mile instead of keeping just 1.5 meters. To you who opened your doors again, we take our hats off. Nina, who kept us moving, 100%. And of course, there no mayini general dealers. You might not be essential workers, Mara, you too played an essential role in keeping Mzansi working. And that's why we're giving you a chance to win your share of 5 million rand. Join Nedbank today.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to It's Your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Expresso. We're live on SABC3 on this beautiful Thursday morning. Yeah. Thank you so much for choosing to wake up with us. Now, every year, we know this, every year begins with back-to-school basics, especially when it comes to school wear. It's so important. That's what you see all over the place. And now you can shop everything from no-stain skirts to comfy and breathable school shoes and swimwear, as well as UV protection and so much more that comes with all of those clothes, layered on those clothes already.
I wish I had this when I was a kid.
I mean, you know what I mean? Born too late, born too early.
Yeah. Well, joining us in studio this morning is Woolworths schoolwear buyer and planner Gerard Henriquez. And then we've got schoolwear clothing fabric technologist, and that is Sakamuzi Gwala. And then, of course, last but not least, our footwear technologist, Julian Wade Dasel. And they're all here to tell us what we need to know about back to school.
First thing, guys, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Your titles are also interesting. There's a whole footwear technologist.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? What do you do? What's the technology in shoes?
Well, we focus mainly on the quality and the engineering of the product. So basically everything that goes into the product we involved in. So that is basically what the technology does.
It just sounds so exciting. Sounds so amazing. But Gerard, we know that you guys spend so much time really focusing on the output for the year, especially to get the kids ready at the start of the year. What features can we expect from Woolies and your range of schoolwear around this time?
100%. So thank you very much for having the team. Let me just say first and foremostly that at Woolies, customers are our number one priority. So customers, whether it be parents or whether it be kids in this case. So what customers can sort of expect is, first and foremostly, is a sort of seamless shopping experience. I think the most important thing is really to make it convenient for customers, whether they're purchasing sort of the uniforms online or whether they're in our stores. I think secondly is we offer a one-stop shop. So we offer a full head-to-toe solution in terms of school uniforms that's not only made of high quality, but it's comfortable and it's durable at the end of the day. As a parent myself, whilst I'm shopping for my kids' school uniforms, I have peace of mind that I can pop over to our Woolies food division and purchase sort of healthy snacks and lunch options, that at the end of the day, I know that my kids are fueled with the right nutrients, to keep them going through the day.
Yes.
And, just linked to that, when customers are finalizing their purchase, through the swiping of the My School card, they are, through that purchase, there's a percentage of that actually gets donated to their kids' school. So in a nutshell, what can customers expect? Number one, a seamless shopping experience. And number two is really sort of a one-stop shop. So why would you want to shop anywhere else?
It's the convenience, right?
100%,
The big thing
100%.
is convenience. Also, the kids will love going to the shops with you because the thing is they're seeing all of these pieces and items sort of laid out so nicely. They want to run around and grab whatever they can, which is fantastic. Can be fun for everyone. I mean, look at them.
And one thing I must admit is that I remember when I was at school, it never looked this good. I used to look like a big block in my big shirt. It never was really made for me. It was like a tiny big man.
Oversized pants, right?
Exactly that.
If I can just share sort of some of the key features from our Woolworths sort of school uniforms. And again, guys, thank you very much for joining us this early in the morning.
Do you like your uniform?
100%. So if I may, just some of the key features that what we do as Woolies is really around some of the key sort of intrinsics in the garment itself. So as a parent, I look at things from the inside out. So again, if you look at it, what we have is flat seams. So if you think about it, a lot of kids don't wear vests underneath their shirts.
Yes.
So against the skin, this is a lot more comfortable, compared to some of the other ways in which the guys sort of manufacture. Let's just look at the back as an example. We've removed that woven label. If you think about it, that was the most irritating thing that you had at school. So what we've got is we've got a heat transfer label, which is a lot more comfortable. If we just look at the outside of the garment itself, what we've got is what we call a back yoke. So that adds to the strength and the durability of the actual shirt
Which
itself.
you actually need because they go to
100%.
school every day.
They're playing on the playground, they're moving around all the time. So reinforced collars, reinforced stitching on the pockets itself. So again, it's just these key features that makes the difference.
Oh, now we see where the technology bit comes in, right? Because that's exactly it. That is the technology and how you make these garments.
Now, Sakamizi, I've got to ask you as well, I mean, being the specialist that you are, and we're talking about all these different, like, let's call it additions and upgrades to the school uniform. What else is it that kind of sets things apart, and why is it so important to ensure that comfort and quality is essential box ticked when it comes to the school uniform?
With the garment construction itself, so it is done in a way that the customer, when it goes to stores, or as you can see the kids in their uniform, they're even proud of themselves for wearing
They look proud. They look proud.
Woolworths schoolwear. So as well as with the fabric itself, Gerard did touch on the durability. That's quality. Quality is number one at Woolworths. So we engineer our fabrics with the customer in mind, and we make sure that each and every fabric that goes through to our schoolwear uniform is tested and approved to meet the customer expectations. So if I may make an example of our school shirts, they are machine washable, thermo dryable, and they need really minimal ironing. or to no ironing, because there's no
time.
There's no time.
Parents don't have the time.
And practically speaking as well, I think it's quite cool because I would imagine these upgrades are going to add to the durability. Because let's be honest, yes, we want them to look good, but I'm the kind of parent that one day would love my kid to be able to just play and go run in the trees and the fault and know that I don't have to buy a new shirt afterwards.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about kids going and play as they wish.
Yeah.
So we also have a stain repellent on our fabrics.
Okay.
Because we know that stains can be a pain. Right.
He needs an adult version of that.
Fantastic. No, I really do. But Julian, the shoe technology or footwear technology is so important because they spend all day in these shoes on their feet. Why is it so important? What have you got in store for the kids and the parents?
So what we have is products that is durable, comfortable, and we focus mainly on our safety of our kids as well, with anti-slip outsoles. So those are the key features that we actually engineer into the product.
Yeah.
So if you look at the actual products there, the boys' lace-ups, the girls' T-bars, adjustable straps, the nickel-free metal components, all built into the product. So that's actually what we actually focus on with footwear.
Wow.
And I just heard, and this might sound silly, but you said you actually added grip to the outsole. Because when I remember in school, we would slide around at break time and I would injure myself. You tick that box as well.
Yeah, so this is slip-resistant outsoles. That's what, we've
Okay, cool. So kids are going to be dancing into class now. Easy.
Correct, 100%.
I love it. Do you like your shoes? Do you love your shoes? Do you like your uniform? Are you feeling happy? You're ready to show off and show your friends what you look like this year? That's swag, right? For real. Well, ensure that your kids are ready for the new school year by buying all of their schoolwear essentials at Woolworths. I mean, you can get that online, in store. There's so many ways to get this. Of course, if you spend 500 Rand or more on schoolwear, you stand the chance to win 10,000 Rand a day for 20 days. Right?
Indeed. You cannot wait to get involved. So make sure you head over to woolworths.co.za. And of course, these T's and C's can also be found. And gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for making back to school stylish and comfortable as well, but ensuring the quality too.
Yes.
You ready to go to school? Okay, let's go. Let's go.
What an amazing conversation.
Cuteness overload.
Can you just
I love
imagine
it.
seeing Jack in
I know, that's exactly, I've been doing this all time. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was just imagining my 3-year-old in his awesome little outfit, man. Oh, it's going to be so sweet.
Listen, but all that talking of school makes me think of something that I learned this week. Now, did you know that Nespresso actually has over 100,000 recycling collection spots in over
100,000?
100,000 in over 33 countries. And one of those countries is actually Stockholm, Sweden. Have you ever been?
I have not been. I know you have. I absolutely love it. I think I've always had a bit of a fascination with Nordic countries. The idea of these icy cold winters, the long nights, the long days, and some of the Vikings, of course. Maybe the pastries also play a little bit of a role there. What I'm loving, though, is Nespresso's new world exploration range of Lungo coffees, and they're going to take us to Sweden for a taste of Stockholm. Little sophistication in our homes with their Stockholm Lungo. All part of the new Lungo range, which I've been putting to the test. It is amazing. And we're going to show you how to make the perfect coffee to enjoy with a delicious pastry, seeing as we made some pastries earlier. And this one I like. This is kind of a warmer, comfort food kind of vibe, and I think it'll go nicely with, this is a level 8 intensity, so you're going to get nice malty flavors there as well, kind of that coffee bitterness that I need. See, I'm level 8. I'm level 8 or higher.
I'm level 4, so
oh, wow, okay.
I'm really level 4, but I'm very interested to try this. Again, with those flavors, I'm loving this because it gives you that Christmas feel. You get the nutmeg, you get the clove, and you get the cinnamon. So this is the cinnamon.
So will you do the spice part, and then I'll do us a brew?
I'm going to spice up your life. The clove, we can actually remove that at the end, and then we are going to grate some
because
nutmeg.
that's how the pros do it. You've got to grate your nutmeg straight.
Not my fingers, though.
Yeah, please.
You can tell me when to stop.
Go for it. I've made this before, so I have no idea what the yardstick is, but I think that should be all right, eh?
Should be good.
You can do this to taste. You can figure it out, have like 5 on the trot. Do you want to let's put a little bit of sugar in, because you can do sugar to taste, and I think maybe a little bit of sweetness will go nicely with this one. That's enough.
That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put it there.
So I'm just going to mix that through. And then obviously being a lungo, we are going to go with the lungo.
110 mils coming through. Oh, look at that color. That makes me excited.
And I can't tell you, I mean, it's a bit weird. Maybe I'm a bit of a freak, but it really does, for me, that intensity when you first brew it and it comes out and you've got that pitch black coffee and that beautiful creamy crema, that layer on top. Absolutely adore it. And this, wow, I'm getting this amazing aromatic punch in the face. Yeah.
You said I've been to Stockholm. I did not go to Stockholm. I actually went to Nynäshamn, which was about 53 minutes out. And I was actually pregnant with Luca when I was in Sweden. And I wish I had coffee to help with the morning sickness, because I was a full-blown morning sickness at this point.
I'm so sorry.
So when I was there, so this would have probably helped with that.
Let's see if we can address that. Would you put some more spices in there?
I can do.
I'll make you another, and I'm going to have a little bit of a taste.
I use all the cinnamon, which is fine. It's totally fine. I'll just do the nutmeg.
Because you are keen.
Are you going in for it?
Oh, look at that. This is 100% Arabica blend with a Monsoon Malabar Arabica to give it that flavor note. As I said, a flavor intensity 8.
Speak me through it. Speak me through it. Tell me.
It's smooth, but it's intense. You get a nice coffee follow. And when we talk about the intensity level, it's not the level of caffeine in it, it's the flavor intensity. But this really does have a nice maltiness to it, a little hint of bitterness that I need. That's great.
So the sugar was perfect to add in there?
As weird as this sounds, it feels quite Nordic. I don't know why, but it feels like this, feels sophisticated. I feel like I could drink this on the go, on my way to a power meeting, dressed in an awesome suit on my way to a
Do you feel the accent changing? Because I feel like whenever I drink a coffee from a certain country,
place, I feel I'm becoming more logical and ordered as I drink this. I'm becoming more Swedish.
There
Beautiful.
was a time.
Lovely, that's stunning.
Okay.
I'm going to make another one.
There we go.
Beautiful, and we could have even gone lighter with the spices there, I think. So try that first. Go light with the spices, but this is delicious. It's going to warm you through. It is sophisticated, and it's got a beautiful flavor intensity. And if you want to get your hands on this very sophisticated recipe, I suggest you go to expressoshow.com. That's where it's a vault of all of our amazing recipes. Well done, I like this one. I'm enjoying this little Lungo exploration every day.
We are just living our best lives through every single country. Go for it again. Go for it. Go.
Nice.
We chose some of the world's rarest local coffee crafts and refined them to create 5 distinct new tastes. After all, we are the choices we make.
Yes, it is. Your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live on SABC3. Thank you very much for making that breakfast date with us. So we asked you on social media what the theme song or the soundtrack to your life would be. So we asked you, if you had a soundtrack to your life, which song would it be? It's such an interesting one, right?
It's an interesting one. This is a cool question because it makes you think of what people aspire to or who they want to become, how they're feeling. And you guys, of course, have come through with the magic. And we're starting off with Linda Naidu, who says, good morning, Expresso. My song would be DJ Khaled, and it would be better. I like that one.
Love it.
I remember the
Love
intro
it.
to that video, like big cityscapes.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
I wonder
like
if that's
that.
like the energy that, you know, Linda walks around with, that same DJ Khaled energy. Then we got another one from Cleopatra. Cleopatra says, Dangerously in Love by Beyonce. Now, that's my girl. You are the girl that should be hanging out with me. In fact, Cleopatra, let's make a sing-along date.
Cleopatra, you just found a way to the
Dangerously in
pieces
love.
hard.
So Cleopatra stays just being in love.
Truly, clearly, and I just love it. Now we've got Vivian also that's come through, and her song is Prince KB Udongo. Oh, the vibes indeed.
Oh, Vivian is such a groover. And then we've got another one from Katlego Mokoena saying, Linkin Park, What I've Done. Oh, what a song. See, now that's our song. Graham is saying, oh yes, oh yes,
anything
oh,
from
yes.
Linkin Park with that screechy voice, I've become, like it just gets you into any
Just
kind
pump.
of feels. And then we've got Mark Gavin coming through with the last one of the day saying Sky and Years to You.
Look at that guy. That's a happy man.
Happy man
That's
with a beautiful
happy man.
shirt on as well. We're wishing him all the strength, the liver puddly.
You had to throw that
But
in
thank
there.
you, Mzansi, for coming through. I would
it.
love to just hear and see everybody.
Yeah.
And if you can, maybe you can join us on social media. Send us a video of yourself walking
Singing the
into
song.
life, singing your theme song, and just dominating.
Use that hashtag Expresso Show. Right now, though, it's time for a bit of song, and maybe you find yourself a brand new soundtrack to your life. Let's find out.
Oh, yes, indeed. We are still being joined this morning by the sheer talent that is Sanele Mkhize, and he's going to lift our spirits this morning with his soulful words and his beautiful voice. He's taking to the Expresso stage now to perform the title track from his 2019 EP called Utando. Sanele, take it away.
Thank you.
Isimo sizoshintsha ungaphela amandla ubomambelela noma ubona kumnyama ilanga lizophuma kuzojika izinto ngoba ithe balibulali isimo sizoshintsha ungaphela amandla ubomambelela noma ubona kumnyama ilanga lizophuma kuzojika izinto ngoba ithe balibulali uthando luyabekezela aluzifuneli okwalo wena qhubeka uthande umakhelwane wakho uthando luyabekezela aluzifuneli wena qhubeka uthande asenhlizweni yakho ubothula wazi umdali uyabona kodwa wena qinisela ngoba ithe balibulali ubothula wazi umdali uyabona kodwa wena qinisela ngoba ithe balibulali Ubeka
Mkhize, that is the name. You're on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. What powerful vocals you have. Would that be the theme song, or if it was for your life? Like, that's the question we asked. So would that be the awesome track for your life?
Yes, most definitely, because, you know, it's just encouraging, you know. You need to do good all the time and just keep on loving and being good to other people, yeah.
All the love, all the feels. Stick around with us here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. More of this coming your way, but right now it's time to head on to those news headlines.
Such a talent, Sanele Mkhize, here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Just after 7, time for us to take a look at those news headlines. Starting off here in South Africa, where South Africa leading expert on the COVID-19 pandemic and chair of the government's coronavirus advisory panel, Professor Salim Abdul Karim, yesterday urged wealthier nations to not hoard vaccine supplies. He described such behavior as unacceptable and warned, quote, that no one is safe until everyone is safe. He said there's no end game that sees one country succeeding in controlling the virus while the rest of the world is dealing with rampant spread. And he said that there is really no reason that one country already starts vaccinating low-risk young people when Africa hasn't even started vaccinating. Meanwhile, Health Minister Sanele Mkhize last night announced that the first COVID-19 vaccines would arrive in South Africa on Monday. A flight with the vaccines will leave India on Sunday, and he said that it was a massive achievement to obtain the first batch of vaccines less than a year after the outbreak of the pandemic in South Africa. Some 1.25 million frontline healthcare workers will first get the jab, followed by some 2.5 million other essential workers. And phase 3 will target 22.5 million from the rest of the population. In international headlines, scientists of the University of Exeter in the UK say sharks and rays are disappearing from the world's oceans at an alarming rate. They say that the number of sharks in open oceans has plunged by 71% over half a century. And this was mainly due to overfishing, which not only jeopardizes the health of entire ocean ecosystems, but also food security for some of the world's poorest countries. 3/4 of the species studied now threatened with extinction, and the scientists say that immediate action is needed. Wildlife experts in Botswana have discovered at least 5 more elephants that have died mysteriously in the Moremi Game Reserve of the Okavango Delta. They have not ruled out the cause that could be the same waterborne bacteria found to have killed more than 330 elephants last year. The animals were found collapsed knees first, and samples now have been collected, or will rather now be collected, to determine the cause of death. Poaching was ruled out as the elephant's tusks were still intact. And next, news of interesting attempts to curb the birth rate of squirrels. Yes, well, we may think of squirrels as cute, nimble, bushy-tailed little creatures, but in the UK, the damaged grey squirrels due to woodlands costs the country's economy some £1.8 billion per year. And the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs has now come up with a project to use oral contraceptives to control grey squirrel populations. This bizarre-sounding plan is to lure them into feeding boxes with little pots containing hazelnut spread, and this would then be spiked with an oral contraceptive. And then the plan, of course, too, it does enjoy royal approval in that Prince Charles was instrumental in founding and funding the UK Squirrel Accord. And the objective of the accord is managing the negative impacts of some 3 million invasive grey squirrels originally from North America, which have displaced the native red squirrel across most of the country. Prince Charles says that it's important to protect Britain's remaining red squirrels, and he says that they are charming and intelligent wee creatures who never fail to delight and are the symbol and benchmark of healthy woods. And that's where we leave it for now. Here is Graham with a look at what's happening in the world of sports.
We start with cricket that will be resuming shortly. A century by Fawad Alam helping Pakistan steady the ship and bounce back on day 2 of the first test match against the Proteas at the National Stadium in Karachi. The hosts took a first innings lead of 88 as they ended the day on 308 for 8 against South Africa, with Alam reaching 109 off 245 deliveries. Azhar Ali and Fahim Ashraf both making 50s as Pakistan were able to get back on track on that second day's action. So day 3 between between Pakistan and the protest will continue from 7 a.m. this morning. Staying with cricket but bringing it back home, the Warriors beat the Cape Cobras by a massive 81 runs based on the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method in the Momentum One Day Cup Pool B at Senvest Park in Potchefstroom yesterday. Opener Matthew Beretska hitting 55 and Senetemba Klashile reaching 64 not out to help the Warriors post 226 for 6 in their rain-reduced 44 overs. Cape Cobras failing to reach that target, being bowled out for just 148. There'll be one day cup fixture to look out for today. That's the Lions up against the Warriors, kick-starting at 10 a.m. On to local football. A 10-man Mamelodi Sundowns edged out Black Leopards 2-1 at the Toyondu Stadium in Limpopo in the Premier Soccer League last night. Peter Shalolile scoring a brace for the defending champions, with the winner coming during injury time. So Masandawana now remain at the top of the PSL standings, 3 points ahead of SuperSport United and Swallows FC in second and third place respectively. The Premier Soccer League action picks up again tomorrow. Then a little further afield, bottom of the table, Sheffield United, who do seem to be on a bit of a run at the moment, caused a major midweek English Premier League upset after a stunning team of the moment, Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford last night. The Red Devils needed that win to regain the top spot in the league from Manchester City. Goals by Kieran Bryan and Oliver Burke confirmed the victory for the Blades, who do still remain at the bottom of the standings despite their win. In other results from last night, Everton and Leicester City drew 1 apiece, and Chelsea, under their new management, of course, of new coach Thomas Tuchel, were held to a goalless draw against Wolves. Tonight, it's a big one at the top of the table. Premier League hopefuls, Tottenham Hotspur, and defending champions Liverpool will go at it at 10 p.m. tonight. Well, that's where we leave it for this hour. Let's take another look at your weather.
Thank you so much, G. You already know this, but we love seeing and also sharing your sunrise pictures. Now, we are going to kick off your 7 a.m. weather update with one of our favorites, Louise G. Sherry from Johannesburg, who shared this breathtaking image overlooking the city. Now, your maximum is going to be 23 degrees today. A cloudy and humid day is expected with a couple of thunderstorms coming your way. Another one coming through from Serena M. Sher from Umhlanga sent us this picturesque image of the sun rising over the ocean. Now, a cloudy and cooler day is predicted with occasional rain throughout the day. Again, thank you to all of you that have shared your sunrise images, and to those that would like to be featured in our sunrise segment, head on over to our Expresso Facebook page right now and share your photos with us right over there. Now, still on the subject of climate change, and great news in this regard is that the richest man on earth, South African-born Elon Musk, says he is fired up to help the Biden administration with climate change. The CEO of Tesla and SpaceX added he's hopeful that they can make progress in this regard. Now, Musk is presently running a competition to give a 1.5 billion rand prize to the company or startup with the best plan for carbon capture technology, a promising method of geoengineering that removes the presence of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and stores it. He says he feels most optimistic about the future of sustainable energy with the new administration in the US. Now, bringing it back home, here's another look at the temperatures for the day. We kick it off with Polokwane. Your low is 18, peaking at 26, and of course thunder showers can be expected in your part of the country. Umbombela, it ranges from 18 to 25, and rain can be expected. Pretoria 17-25, Johannesburg 15-23, and if you do find yourself in Mahikeng today, you can expect a low of 19 and a high of 27. Klerksdorp, your minimum is 18 with a maximum of 27, as well as thunder showers expected today for you. Kimberley coming through with a low of 16 and a high of 28. Bloemfontein, thunder showers also coming your way with a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 23. And then Richards Bay ranges from 20 to 22. Pietermaritzburg, 17-21. South Africa's playground Durban coming through with a low of 21 and a high of 24. Umtata ranges from 13 to 21, and rain is expected for you today, so maybe get out a jacket. East London, 17-23. Craddock coming through with a low of 13 and a high of 28. The friendly city of Port Elizabeth, PE, ranges from 16 to 24. If you're out in George, your low is 13 with a high of 22. The mother city, Cape Town, is expected with a low of 13 and a high of 22. Worcester, 9:34. Some sunshine also expected for Sutherland with a low of 8 and a high of 27. And the hottest part in the country today is Uppington with a low of 17 and a high of 35. Wherever you do find yourself, remember to connect with us, Expresso Morning Show, SABC 3.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And it looks like a scorcher around Mzansi. And believe it or not, it's that very weather that can really affect our skin. Now, my number one skincare tip is to really follow a well-balanced skincare routine. Now, that includes a day and night cream.
I can tell.
Thank you, thank you.
You look good.
You've seen the glow.
Yeah, you look good. These days, you look really good.
I've come a long way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't obviously mean that we can't enjoy, of course, the healthy, glowing skin that you see right here.
Even though it's January, and that's why W Rewards members get 20% off day and night creams, plus an extra 5% off when you pay with your Woolies card. Great savings there. And this offer is available until the 31st of Jan, which means you haven't got much time. So go out there and buy and take advantage of this deal. And of course, you can shop this at Woolworths in-store, online, or on the app, and T's and C's can be found on woolworths.co.za. Okay, so now, do you want to share those tips with me?
All right, so first you start off with the basics, of course.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yeah, the man with the best intro on TV is here. I like the transition from yellow to normal to pink hair. We love having him here. But this is a very important conversation that we're going to get into right now. Fake news stories can have real-life consequences. We've seen this play out in the US. We've seen it play out around the coronavirus. Stopping the proliferation of fake news isn't just the responsibility of the platforms used to spread it. Those who consume the news also need to find ways of determining whether what they're reading is true or not, and that is especially needed during times like these when people's lives literally are at stake. So we're going to chat to Grant Hines on how to spot fact from fiction on the internet. It's
so important. I mean, I don't know how many times you've chatted to family over this time, and it's stuff about vaccines, and it's stuff about the government, and it's stuff about and we need to learn. Like, of course, the information that we're getting is a lot, and we're usually pretty good at like disseminating information, but we need to learn to disseminate stuff. And just because you saw it on Facebook doesn't mean that it is real. And in fact, it's something that you really need to double check. So there are a couple of tools that you should have.
Tools to use in the infodemic, we're going to call it.
Infodemic, yeah, I like that. I like that terminology.
Okay, so what are some of your top tips for spotting fake news?
Read past the headline. A lot of people love to just share an article because that headline has their own confirmation bias in it. So read past that and make sure that you are
When you mean confirmation bias?
So confirmation bias is that you already hold an opinion, right? And somebody else tells you something that makes your opinion feel more right. So we have a tendency as individuals to believe that instead of assess that information objectively. So it's the difference between objective assessment and subjective assessment.
And on a platform like Facebook, you're going to be sent those stories because you are biased towards that. So they're going to utilize those headlines to get you to take on more content.
And Facebook make money by you spending time, so they put you in circles where people have the same view as you or the same opinion as you, so that you kind of like bolster each other up, and then in the real world when you get outside and there's somebody next to you that has a different opinion to you, you're like, this person's crazy, like how can they not do this? So that's the difference between, that's what confirmation bias really does in the subjects of it. The other one is just pay attention to the domain, you know, so the domain is that like line, my dad doesn't know what a domain is, sorry dad. So the domain is the line at the top which is http://, it's the address from where the website comes from. Have a look at that, see if it looks legit or not. That's where the information is being sourced from.
Is it a credible news source? Is it a BBC News? Is it a Sky News?
And there are tons.
SABC News.
And back in the day, like there used to be these websites, and they looked bad, and you could identify them immediately. But they've gotten so good at looking authentic and looking legitimate that it's it's hard to determine it. So make sure you check out
What's a good sign that it's dodge?
A good sign that it's dodge is that you look at that website and you can search for it. And also, so like, all of these tools are helpful. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you find that URL. There are other websites that you can check. There's Snopes.com, which are an independent fact checker. There's factcheck.org as well, which you can then put those websites into and just go like, hey, is this news story legitimate? Is this one where they found like a mummified dinosaur with the skin on, like still real, or Bigfoot? Like those are all conspiracy theories. Look at the credentials. Do reverse image searches as well. So if there are images on the website that claim that the story says something, in Google, you can now not only search the word, you can also search the image. So once you search that image, you can find out, oh, that person's fake.
Yeah.
Or that story is fake. Or it comes from a completely different story.
That's what they do on Catfish,
That's how you do that. But also, like, you can find that piece of that protest is a different protest.
Yeah.
Or for every reason.
So it's just pieced it together to grab your attention.
Yeah. And then search for other reports on that story and then like match them up and go like, oh, okay. So this person's added a lot of stuff which is, not there on other people's news sources.
Some other ways that we can fight misinformation, because we do play a part, because we're often spreading this misinformation. So we think that we're not complicit because we didn't create the story.
So a lot of people have said, oh, I just shared the article because I thought it was interesting, or I thought the headline was right. And I was like, hey, did you read this? Do you know how dangerous it is? Just because, like, the anti-vaxxer movement, and I'm going to get very, aggressive here, the anti-vaxxer movement literally can kill people.
Yeah.
And if you aren't assessing what you are sharing, just because you thought it was interesting, people's lives can die because you are inquisitive, or you are, I don't know, the Joker and Batman. It's not. This is real life. The internet breeds over into real life, and we need to take what we do over on the internet seriously.
Oh, you look at the political situation in the US and how that's led to extremism across the globe, literally. Any final tips that you want to leave us with regards to?
Lastly, if you suspect a news source is fake, don't share it, but also report it to those medias.
Who do you report to?
So Twitter and Facebook have tools now that they are integrating to report fake news. Use those tools if you see it. The more of that stuff that's not out there, the better. If it is a true story, often they won't block it, but it does give you the agency to go like, I suspect this is fake, and just do it. Just double check it every time. Just sharing something. I know it's easy to click the share button, and they want it to be easy.
That's why they've made it, engineered it.
But it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Well, here's a tip. Rather than letting your news come to you, why don't you go to a credible source and get the news for yourself? Find a source that you do trust and do that. Well, stay with us because we've got more from our tech and news guru with Grant Hines coming up in just a moment. All very important stuff.
It seems trust is a big word around these social media and news platforms and all of that. We know that WhatsApp is one that's been in the news a lot lately, especially after they came out announcing that they were making some changes to their privacy policies. It's insane. Of course, the instant messaging platform WhatsApp has or had amassed about 2 billion users. 2 billion users by the end of last year. Then the announcement of their incoming new terms and conditions regarding privacy and the use of information came out, and then they've seen literally people leaving the Facebook-owned app by the millions. It was like a mass exodus of sorts. And of course, this caused WhatsApp to delay the changes from Feb to May, because it's a big thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. But right now, it's time for another edition of our feature where we focus on the unconventional side of law. It's called So Now What? And we're calling once again upon the legal guidance of our friend and expert in law, director at legalease.co.za, Aiton Stern, to answer this question. What's up with WhatsApp? What's up with the new terms and the conditions? Because...
Can I just say first, I really like the term friend-in-law.
Friend-in-law.
Yeah, friend-in-law.
That's a fresh one, Jamie. Well done, well done. But Aiton, welcome, and it's so good to see you again. This is a big one, and it's gotten so many people so confused. What will WhatsApp be doing with our information? What information are they going to be taking? Where will it go? What will they do with it?
Well, the first thing I want to say is everyone should panic. No, I'm totally kidding. Definitely, it's time to not panic. So WhatsApp have finally launched what they're calling WhatsApp for Business. So they bought WhatsApp, Facebook bought WhatsApp a couple of years ago and pretty much done nothing with it. It's been free for us all to use, and now it's grown to the biggest social network in the world. They're now trying to monetize it, which, believe it or not, is what private companies do when they own something. So they're trying to monetize it, and they've launched this feature called WhatsApp for Business, which allows businesses to utilize WhatsApp in their work. And because of that, with WhatsApp for Business, businesses are then going to be able to access our metadata. So not our actual messages, but our metadata, our age, our location, our gender, our how often we use the messaging app, any of the metadata that we have. So people that are, when you are messaging a WhatsApp for Business client, and you'll be able to see, because Facebook does label it, then your metadata can be passed on to that business for marketing purposes.
And you say we shouldn't panic.
Hey, run, everybody, run.
Look, I just don't think it's a massive surprise. I think if anyone's shocked that Facebook or Instagram or anyone on the internet is trying to sell us things, I just think you're a bit out of touch. So it's like, this is how the internet works. We are the product on Facebook and Instagram. They are monetizing us, and in exchange we get to use Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, these things that we really like. It's a really simple solution. If you don't like it, just delete the app.
There's also something called message encryption.
Yeah.
What exactly is that, and how important is it for people that's using instant messaging?
For sure. So message encryption is something that WhatsApp introduced a couple of years ago, and it means that if I send a message to you, when I can view it on my phone, that's the one end, you can view it on your phone, that's the other end, but in the middle, it's encrypted, it's scrambled. Okay. So WhatsApp or anyone else can't intercept that message, and they have instituted that. They did it a couple of years ago so that WhatsApp or Facebook can never be forced, say by the police or the FBI, which happened in quite a well-known case in America. They can't be forced to give up anyone's messages. They say, listen, I really want to know what Tabiso's up to on his phone. They can't be forced to give it up because they don't have access to it. So that's what end-to-end encryption is. That's going to stay. It's not that. And WhatsApp, our messages are currently WhatsApp end-to-end encrypted, and as far as we know, it will stay like that. So no one's going to have access to your actual messages and know your business. They're going to have access to the mass data, which might be more dangerous in the long term. There's a lot of talk about it, but it's your location, your age, where you're sending it from, how often you're using the app, that mass data.
I suppose then it's the same type of flow and the same type of setup as what you currently have on Facebook, is that Facebook for many years, for as long as we've used Facebook, as long as we've known, has been able to access our age and how often we're searching for wedding gowns, for example, and being able to use that information. But they've not necessarily gone into our messages, which is comforting to know about WhatsApp, that they're not going to be getting into mine and Jamie Lee's chats.
Exactly.
and sharing
I don't
them
think
with
anyone wants to know what's happening in those chats.
Absolutely
No, I don't want
The
anyone
shade.
knowing that, right?
The shade. No, the shade that's in our messages.
No, we don't want anyone knowing that. Ha. Why don't you let us know on social media, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, what your thoughts are around the new T's and C's that WhatsApp is launching. Are you one of the people who actually went out and left WhatsApp because you're not having any of it, you're not playing those games? We're going to be hanging out still with Eitan Stern, who's going to be giving us more insights on this. So do connect with us and remember to use that hashtag Expresso Show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. Of course, we are continuing our discussion with a lawyer and director at legalease.co.za, also our friend-in-law, Eitan Stern, as he breaks down WhatsApp's upcoming changes to their user terms and conditions. A very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Again, everyone's been speaking about it. It's a word on the street, WhatsApp. With
WhatsApp. Here's the thing, Eitan, and tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm actually correct here, is that if you are already using Facebook and all of its associated or affiliated businesses that they own already would have our information in any case. So if you're worrying so much about them having that type of information on WhatsApp and you are still using Facebook, they already do have access to that information.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the thing of what people can remember is that any website that this issue isn't a new one, and any website that you're going to is going to tell you exactly what they're doing with their data in their terms and conditions. So right now we're talking about this story because it's hit the media and it's a big story. But at any point you can go to the terms and conditions on Facebook or Instagram or any other website that you use, and they have to tell you. And that's because certainly in South Africa, we've got this Protection of Personal Information Act, which is coming in now. Other countries have their own Data Protection Act. So what these sites are required to do is they're required to tell us what information they're storing and they're using, how they're storing it, and you are even able to ask any website or e-commerce site what information they are storing of yours. So, that's a crucial thing, and that exists all around the internet. So, and if you ever suspect that you're using a website or an e-commerce site that isn't doing that and doesn't have correct terms, then you need to report them or you need to make it known. And if anyone out there is running an e-commerce site or any website and doesn't have terms and is not telling their users what the data they're storing, it's really time to do so, because it's a requirement for everyone.
But I think, yeah.
And so funny you mentioned this, because so often we just accept those terms, we just click yes, accept, and you don't actually read the fine lines of it.
Well, the thing is, they also make it 100 pages, and they're all like a small print on your cell phone, 1,000 pages of terms and conditions, and I don't know anyone that's ever read those terms and conditions.
Well, I mean, we draft a lot of
Well, you write them.
So we read them, and you're right. I mean, the aim is to try and make them user-friendly, and a lot more of them are quite user-friendly now, to try and make people engage with them. But you're right, the legal jargon is often not so entertaining. But the point is still out there. If you've got a problem with what people are doing with your data, first step is go have a look at what they're doing with it and go read the terms.
And a lot of people do have a problem with this. They do not agree with the new terms and conditions, and they are then encouraged to delete the app, the app. But then what happens to the information that is stored over the time that you've been using the app?
Okay, great question. So there'll be two things that are relevant. Number one is what is the reason for them storing that data? Because some data they're not going to have to delete if that was stored legally in terms of POPI or GDPR, which is the European version, or the US's version of data control laws. So some information they'll be able to keep, and they might have to keep, say for taxation or security reasons. Other information, if the other information, whether they're going to keep it or not, is going to be broken down in their terms and conditions. So it's going to differ site to site. So if you want to know, just go look at the site. Facebook does have a feature where you can ask them what data they're keeping. And if they haven't said they're going to keep it and they don't need to keep it by law, if you delete your account, they should be deleting your data. But the data that they're keeping is data that's pooled, and it's mass data. So one person leaving, they're still going to have the information that they need, and their aim is to sell us products. If you're not into that and don't want to be sold products, then don't get involved. But a lot of the features that we've grown to like on the internet, the fact that our phones tell us how long it takes to get home, or can recommend the great restaurants, or nice products that we see in our search which are relevant for us. These are all the byproducts of the metadata that they're keeping.
No, absolutely. Have you ever noticed something? You maybe search something, or you just think about something, and randomly you go into Facebook and ba-boom.
These things know us very, very well. Look, I could be wrong, and this is just my opinion. We've talked about the legal aspect of it. From my personal opinion, I'm really not that worried about Facebook and Instagram. I don't really have anything to hide. They're not using my personal chats, and I don't mind being pulled for data. That doesn't really worry me, but there's a lot of worrying stuff on the internet. I like the fact that we are on Expresso show talking about WhatsApp. We're an American company. It's a big issue because it's public, and they make what they're doing public. There's a lot of things to worry about on the internet. There's a lot of dodgy sites. There's some South African legislation as well, which allows the South African security agencies to intercept some of our communications with quite vague powers. So there's a lot to worry about there in terms of data, and it's great that people are active and finding out what's relevant. I just say to people, keep digging, because there's a lot out there.
Somewhere out there, someone has your information, and they are using it for whatever reasons and purposes that they want to use it. If you've got a cell phone and you've got a SIM card in your cell phone, you've already given your information over to the government to do with it whatever they want. You've done RICA. So maybe it's not as bad as it sounds, and maybe we shouldn't all be flocking out and panicking. Weigh in on the conversation. Let us know what you think. Use that hashtag Expresso Show 8 on You Rock.
You guys rock.
You rock. You rock.
Now, you all rock. You all rock, man. Thank you so much for that conversation. Well, from maybe shared anxieties to a massive shared excitement, tomorrow morning is going to be big. The Samsung team are going to be here to unpack more about the game-changing, incredible Samsung Galaxy S21 series, best phone on the market. They'll be giving away not one, not two, but 3 Galaxy S21 series smartphone devices. So you've got to tune in tomorrow morning, bright and early, for all of those details on how you can enter our very exciting hashtag Galaxy S21 series competition. This one you do not want to miss. Welcome back. Time to get excited. I know Riley's really excited. Yeah, it's kind of his spirit animal has just walked into the building.
I'm a groupie.
He's fanboying at the moment. Nothing wrong with that. Well-known extreme swimmer, performance coach, and inspirational speaker, and good friend of our show, Ryan Stramrud, has been nominated for the prestigious World Open Water Swimming Association Man of the Year Award. Wow, this nomination came after Ryan achieved the record number of crossings between Robben Island to the mainland in June of last year. During all of the craziness, he was able to do it. The extreme swimmer joins us now this morning to chat about this incredible achievement and the kudos that seems to be coming with it. You look like you're training at the moment, bro. You're looking lean, mean, tanned, ready for another swim. Welcome to the show, man, and congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you. It's just a tight T-shirt.
That's his secret as well, man.
Why give us secrets, Ray? Listen, Ryan, man, it's such a pleasure having you in the studio. We were chatting, obviously, off camera, and I'm just learning about your fascinating world, and so blown away. 109th swim.
Wow.
Crossing Robben Island, from Robben Island to Blouberg. It's about a 7.1k swim. It's treacherous, it involves...
It's tough waters.
It's cold water, it's tough, it's crazy, and the man has done it 109 times in total. Bro, tell me about this swim. What makes it so special? It makes you keep coming back for more and more and more. That is insane.
Well, thanks. Firstly, you know, it's the challenge of a Robben Island. It's always a tough swim, but the real challenge is not the distance. You can train to do the distance. You can get your body in shape, but it's that cold water. You're not wearing a wetsuit or any grease. I do it only in a Speedo, goggles, and cap. And the impact on the cold is what impacts the mind and the body quite profoundly. It makes it very difficult to perform, and that's what keeps me coming back, because you learn so much about yourself. And no two Robben Islands are ever the same. You know, Lewis Pugh and I do a crossing every now and then together. And every time we walk out on the beach, we look at each other and go, that's just not what we expected. Yeah. So it's become a fantastic training swim for me, actually. You know, I pay it every kudos, but I'm training for some bigger and tougher swims, and really? Robben Island throws absolutely everything at you, you know, from the cold water, from the currents, from the waves, from the things that sting you and scare you and everything. It works for body and mind.
I got it. Gee, I got to just put this in perspective. I attempted the Robben Island swim. I had to do it with 3 other people in a team, and it was the hardest swim I've ever done in my life. Imagine doing this for practice.
I'm just thinking of the depth below, the dark depth below, and what goes on, what must go on in your mind. You mentioned Lewis Pugh. I know that he's a genetic freak where his body literally adjusts like that. How much of your ability here is physical, and how much of it is mental? Because so much of what you speak about, you become such an inspirational speaker because of something going on in your head through this process. As you said, something that attracts you. How much of this has to be done in the mind?
Oh, great question. It is very much mental. I'd say 70% mental. Clearly, you've got to be conditioned. You've got to toughen up. But you know, we haven't evolved well to handle cold as the human species. We've evolved pretty well to get out. So all it can do when you get into cold water, it knows down the line you're going to die if you stay in here. Therefore, it denies you the ability of rational thought, and all it wants to do is make you think of negative things and get out, self-doubt, pain, panic, fear, and all of those things. So when you start to realize how powerful, firstly, this defense mechanism is, and how difficult it is to override it, but also how overzealous it is. It wants you out now. I only have to get out much further down the line, and believe it or not, the magic happens in the middle. And when you start applying that to everything else in life, when there's a difficult decision, when you're feeling out of your comfort zone, when you worry that failure might be down the line, we avoid it rather than, you know, push past the line that our minds are telling us we shouldn't go past. You've got to push past that line because there's magic on the other side of it, and that's what I preach.
Oh, so life lessons, never mind just swimming. Absolutely love it. Now, my other question to you is the fact that figuring out the maths, you've done over 100 of these swims, and there's definitely not 100 years in your life. So you're swimming this quite often. And to add to that, the fact that you only started at, I think about 2003 is when you actually started swimming. Correct. You weren't really swimming like this before then. So it's been a relatively short...
Like once a week, basically.
Literally.
You do the maths.
I mean, what's the reason for even taking this up? I mean, obviously, later on in your life, you decide, I want to be an extreme swimmer. What actually happened there?
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. I certainly didn't wake wake up and go, I want to be an extreme swimmer. It's been a fascinating journey for me. Robben Island crossing, I was getting lazy and fat on the couch, and I wanted to get fit. I was just before my 30s, and I joined a little swimming squad. And then you meet the right people, and you meet someone who's done a Robben Island crossing, and that's fascinating to you, and you put them on this pedestal. Eventually you train, and I did the first one, and I realized, you know what? It was impossible for me only a few months ago. Now I've just done it. What's next? I started the journey and then became fascinated with the element of cold and how that was impacting me, and also all these little impossibles in my own life that have just kept me in the straight and narrow, delivering nice, steady performance in whatever I did, but underachieving potentially to my full potential. And slowly but surely you take on a bigger swim and then a bigger swim. And Robben Island has become routine for me. It's always difficult. The day I pay it disrespect, it's going to kick me in the butt. I know that. But now basically my calendar is I look at my work day, I look at Wind Guru, and if the two match, I look at what the ocean temperature is, I make a few calls, and I go, I'll be at the island by 6 in the morning with a company called Big Bay Events, Derek Fraser. They help me.
Yes, yeah. Because you need the infrastructure. Man.
You need a support boat. You need permission from the island. Sandparks are involved. There's some big ships as well. So you just got to structure it. But yeah, so that's what my day looks like usually.
It's led you to the point of being nominated, as watch him puff out his chest, Man of the Year. That's the World Open Water Swimming Association. So it's your peers. It's guys that I would imagine you really do respect, that also know all too well the challenges that are involved in this kind of endeavor. How proud are you of this achievement? I know you're not quite there yet. It's a nomination, but how did that make you feel? Because this is validation in a very different kind of way.
It really is, yeah. So I'm super chuffed, obviously. I was quite surprised. And, I'm the only South African to have been put forward for this category, and it's amazing. Quite often, life just goes on for me, and suddenly you realize that you actually being acknowledged globally by your peers. And the World Open Water Swim Association is a very well-established body, and it's running these awards. So I've got to get some votes to win it, but the nomination was a real feather in my cap. It also puts South Africa and Cape Town on the map. We're a great swimming destination. You've got to be tough to swim in our waters, but more and more people are, and this just helps showcase that. And so to spearhead that is awesome.
Can we vote? How do we vote?
Absolutely, yes. Please vote.
Vote.
Get him Zanzi to vote for Man of the Year.
The easiest way to vote is to go to my Instagram, where there's lots and lots of swimming pictures and stuff. But Ryan_Stramrud.
Okay.
Maybe you can put that on screen, I don't know. But give me a like while you're about it, guys. And you'll find in the bio there's a link, click it and hit the vote.
Yeah,
that will be really cool. And I'll put lots of speedo pics up for those who like that. And
maybe rival as well. Actually. you might join
my guys, speedo brethren. But guys, of course, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. And of course, Mzansi, don't stress. I'm going to be chatting to Ryan a little bit later. We're going to go through a little ab workout and put those 107 swims to the test and see what that cause up to. So we'll stick around for some more magic later on. But let's see what's cooking in the kitchen, because it smells divine, and Jenny Morris is about to deliver.
Jenny and I has decided we are definitely voting for men in Speedos. Yes, indeed, we are.
Yes, but I would like to see those water wings of his, or are they called abs?
Listen,
the shirt.
Listen, we are a hot mess, but we're back in the kitchen, and we're really loving all our culinary travels today. We had Sweden for coffee and India for lunch, because of course, India is a land renowned for its deep love of spices, flavors, and colors, which we're combining with the Be Well canola oil to create grilled cauliflower steaks with turmeric oil, a perfect meat-free meal for all to enjoy. And this is what I want to say. Kids out there, if you're watching right now, if a cauliflower can become a steak or even a pizza, you can become anything you want in your life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you're going to make this fast. I'm very excited. I've never really had this, but apparently I had to put on the apron because I'm going to assist you in this.
Darling, no one comes into this kitchen without working for their supper.
I know. We know that. I saw you put routes through your faces earlier on, so I've been prepared. I've been warned.
So basically, you take your cauli, you can see it's nice and naked. You've taken all the leaves off, but it's important to leave the stem, because otherwise you're not going to have a nice steak. Okay, the idea is to cut your steaks out like that. If you do get little stray pieces, because it doesn't have a very big core, it's fine, because then we will have cauli popcorn, which is also very delicious, turmeric style. So I'm going to just do 2 nice steaks.
And
like
how big?
this.
Just according to...
According to the size. I mean, this is nice for if you're feeding a child, as you say, for the kiddies. I mean, this is nice for an adult steak. So, of course, we're going to anoint it with a little bit of canola oil. And if you have a look here, darling, it's got the heart mark, which I think is very important. So we're going to pop some of the canola oil on, a little bit of lemon juice to give it some acidity.
The
and then
zest in
salt.
life that we need.
Oh, yes, darling. Salt, look at that. Just go easy on the salt if you're watching your heart, because your blood pressure. Actually, that swimmer could put my blood pressure through the ceiling, but never mind.
I was actually waiting for that. I was waiting. I was like, when is she going to hit us with that? When is she going to hit us with that tagline? Yeah, definitely. I thought, I saw you checking him out when he was
doing
that
his
strokes
moves.
and just getting into...
A little bit of breaststroke.
And he's going to need some food as well, because he's going to be working out a bit later on, so this is perfect
Of course,
for him.
yes, we're going to absolutely feed him up. Okay, now turmeric, as we know, is an absolute an immune-boosting thing. It's an anti-inflammatory. As you say, travel to India. It's an amazing root, okay? So now we just give it a nice bit of a marinade and spread it out gently. And then I'm going to just pop these in the pan. And once these are in the pan, I'm just taking on all that gorgeous color. I'm going to get you to make a nice vegan yogurt dip.
Oh, yes.
What I've done is I've painted the pan with some canola oil, just so that they don't stick. Okay?
And like you said, the canola oil does have the heart. It is endorsed by the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa. So it ticks all the boxes. It is cholesterol-free. So you don't have to worry about, you know, compromising your health when you're having these amazing steaks.
And it does. It really, really ticks all the boxes. If you think I'm going to waste that, sweetheart, we're not. This is going to be some lovely canola popcorn. Look at that.
You know what I've learned to do right now is also have cauli rice. So I'll make that and I shred it.
Delicious. Delish.
Perfect. That is my thing. Okay.
Now,
am I coming in?
Yes, you're going to just go on that side of your auntie. I'm going to give you a little bit of salt. See, I can do it from here. I can
you have the Salt Bay.
Yes.
And then we have some...
This is lovely grated cucumber. I've kept a little bit of pepper back for you. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some garlic. Garlic, another wonderful immune-boosting ingredient. I'm going to just add these seeds now, because when I turn them, they're going to get all toasty and delicious. And then just give that a good stir together.
Some mint as well?
Yeah, oh, yes. And you can also put coriander. I can give you a little bit more salt.
Just throw it. Whatever you want to throw in, I trust your judgment. I'm sure you're going to zest up our life. And then this is perfect, because it's a good substitute if you don't want to use mayonnaise or any other hectic thing.
Although, I mean, B1, I've also got some vegan mayonnaise, which I think is fantastic. I don't like it pop. I like texture. So what I've got here is I'm going to take these out very, very soon. But what you could do is, if you want them to cook quickly, you can just very, very lightly steam this.
Okay.
And then slice through it.
And then put it on the grill.
But I mean, look at this, baby.
You don't need that, because I think that will take away from all the goodness of it.
Exactly.
Look at that color on that.
Delicious. Now, what you need to do is give Mama this. You could either put it onto the bottom, or you can put it onto the top. Should we put it under or over? Let's go this way a little bit. Do you want me to feed you?
Come to me.
Do you want to try some?
I do want to try some.
Don't burn yourself now. I'm going to just give you a little Jack corner. Give me this. And just pop it.
Add some.
And you could just once again take a little bit more Be Well canola oil and just stick it over the top. So I would just say to you, try it. It's healthy, it's delicious, and it'll make you be well.
I love the fact that you kept the crunch on it. It's perfect. I wouldn't steam it. I wouldn't do anything. Of course, you want to get your hands on this recipe, expressoshow.com, but here is a quick recap how we created this amazing dish. I love it.
Be well. Love, food, life.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on SABC3. Time for us to talk technology, and you know who our go-to guy is when it comes to that. It's Grant Hines. Now, we know that earlier on during the pandemic, much was still unknown when it comes to the virus, especially regarding the transmission of the COVID-19 virus. And of course, exposure risk and all of that was all fairly unknown. And furthermore, there simply wasn't enough trained staff to conduct the necessary testing and screening procedures. We were all just running around, not knowing where to look. And adding to the already strained testing capacity in the United States, well, that was all a mess as well. Accordingly, many healthcare systems started utilizing robots and automated systems to address these needs, which is such an interesting world altogether. And Grant Hines joins us now to talk about the essential workers behind our fight against the coronavirus that aren't even human. These essential workers aren't even human.
Well, there's so many benefits, obviously, to having essential workers that aren't human. Obviously, risk of exposure, it's a robot, they're not going to contract COVID.
Yes.
Be able to double time. Remember, we've had to make vaccines in faster time periods. We've been able to make sure that people get those vaccines at, faster than human hands can carry them. And that's why we've had this surge in robots that are filling in positions for us.
So what are we calling them? Are we calling them nurses? Are they like robot nurses? And do they have names? How many of them would a hospital typically have? I'm trying to paint this picture in my head here.
Well, like, it depends. This is still, obviously this technology is still new. It's very expensive. I don't think we have much of that in South Africa just yet. You know, we've got other things in our healthcare system that we need to put down as a foundational thing. But overseas, there's a lot of different roles that robots will fill, and that's where the names come in. Okay. So firstly, I would say you get robot scientists, and these robot scientists will do things typically that you'd see like in a car manufacturing facility.
Okay.
You know, they're
moving parts.
They're moving parts. They're moving stuff in and around the factories. They're moving, they're doing, like when you do science tests, you've got to mix certain things.
Yes.
They're programmed to do a lot of the mixing. We've had to do that at huge scale and accurately. You know, when you also up the scale and you add humans, it can be quite inaccurate sometimes. So you had to do that accurately so that we could obviously get like a vaccine out as fast as possible. We could have scientists understanding the spread of COVID, what that spread looks like, and these physical robots help with that.
This is incredible, and I think especially when it comes to getting the vaccine out, because the whole world is suffering under the COVID-19 pandemic, and that means that we need to get so many people in the world vaccinated. I don't think we've got the human capacity to be able to do that as quickly and around the clock in all these different countries.
Exactly, and because robots can work around the clock, they're doing 4,000 tests a day each of these robots. So that's a huge amount, and obviously all this lab work is laborious. It's chemical mixing and that kind of thing, and it's all measured. So it's actually the perfect industry for us to get into with robots.
They're quite accurate, I imagine, because they're programmed that they can't get it wrong necessarily.
When you make coffee for me in the morning, I see
sometimes give you 3 sugars, sometimes
it's
2,
bad.
sometimes
it's bad.
4, you know. But let's talk about robot custodian. What is a robot custodian?
Before we get there, let's just chat quickly about robot nurses.
Okay, that's I mentioned that.
Yeah, because you mentioned it and it follows through. So obviously the labs are working with these robot scientists.
Okay.
But robot nurses are these robots that can go into hospitals and look after patients, be able to take stuff to patients without risk of exposure to the doctors necessarily. And when doctors are understaffed, look, healthcare workers are dying. We don't understand the impact of frontline workers who are dealing with a highly contagious, lethal disease. And obviously all of us here on the show and like across the country, we respect every single one of you in our country, and thank you very much for all the hard work that you're doing to save our lives and put your life at risk. And these robots are an example of us trying to mitigate that risk to those people and those essential workers that are on the front line. So a nurse that can roll through a hospital at 24 hours a day, provide food and necessary checkups for patients that cannot breathe without risk to the essential workers, can save essential workers' lives as well as the lives of their patients.
It's incredible.
Really
I'm
cool.
very keen to find out, Grant, how much of the functions of an ordinary human nurse can these robot nurses do, or would they be able to do? Would they do the more sort of, let's say, functional stuff, so like delivering food and making sure that the medicine's placed in the right area, or...
Yeah, I think, look, for right now, I think it's kind of chilled. Like, there's not too much. There's not too much, but obviously, the better that artificial intelligence gets, the better we can do this. The next thing is these robot custodians. They're actually controlled by scientists, or the doctors at the facility, and they use infrared to disinfect certain regions. So they can roll into an environment, disinfect that environment for essential workers to get in. So they prepare a space for essential workers to go into. So they're all these great technologies that robots are able to contribute to with COVID, and hopefully we see like an arms race to improve our health.
It's incredible, and I think that as the human race, we've come a really long way in that sense, that the ability to be able to create those opportunities to be able to intervene where we need them most, and this is the time when they are most needed. What do you think of that? Can you imagine going for a COVID-19 test and it's a robot asking you to go, so it throws in the thing? That is so interesting. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. I've been for 2 COVID tests. I can't imagine it being a robot, but that is so fascinating. Wow. Wow.
What's got me fascinated, now I can't help but picture Taviso trying to navigate a robot in any space in his life, but what's got me fascinated are your music choices this morning, what gets you going. We've had some great things. I'm Linkin Park all the way, so I agree with whoever voted for Linkin Park earlier, but we've got Marble M. McClala coming in saying, Michael Jackson, Hold My Hand. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we have Christopher 8_Cape Town _ SA, I just had to say his whole name, saying Waka Waka. Yeah.
Don't laugh, he's got a laughy face. There's nothing wrong.
It's time for Africa. No, that's
I danced the samba to Waka Waka.
Did you?
In Strictly, terribly. It was my worst dance.
We need to pull out these
No,
videos.
you don't.
We really
You really
need to do.
don't. Then General Archibald Taylor saying, whoop whoop, Hybrid Minds, music talks. Classic, absolutely correct. Classic, man. So keep them coming. Let us know what song inspires you, gets you going. What's on your playlist today?
We're heading out into space once again. It's the final frontier, and we are joined by science engagement astronomer from the observatory, Dr. Daniel Kanema, who's here to tell us all about spider stars. Good morning, Daniel.
Morning.
Doctor, we're going to start from the beginning. Please tell us what spider stars are in the simplest way possible, please, and why do they even exist?
So basically what happens when a big star dies, so when it runs out of fuel, out of gas to make into sort of heavier elements, it goes supernova. So it makes a massive explosion. And what that supernova leaves behind is a small, dense star, about 10 or 12 kilometers across. So a really, really small star, but very, very heavy. And those stars, which are called neutron stars, they spin very, very fast. So hundreds of times a second, they're spinning. And they send out beams of light, radio light, which we can detect. So it's like looking at a lighthouse. So you're getting this blip every time it goes around. And spider stars are one type of neutron star. And essentially what they have is another star nearby, which the neutron star is slowly devouring. And that's why they're called spider stars, because they're eating their mate, essentially.
This is so fascinating. I mean, I think the big question for us here is, how are they even found?
These neutron stars that release a pulse like a lighthouse, they're very bright in radio waves. So we use radio telescopes such as Meerkat up in Carnarvon. In this case, it was detected using the Arecibo radio telescope in South America. So we can detect these pulses, these regular pulses, and from that we can obviously infer what's going on in terms of these systems.
The first thought that came to mind when I read spider stars, I thought it's spiders shaped like a star for some reason, but clearly it's not, Doctor. Why the association with spiders, for example, redback or the black widow?
So the redbacks and the black widow spiders, I suppose the names are slightly contrived, but it's a nice way of kind of describing what's going on and defining a different sort of class of star or stellar system. So black widows or redbacks, after they mate, the female eats the male.
I'm so sorry for laughing. This is just devastating.
So now we're into biology. But essentially what's happening with these stars is the same thing. So it's a binary system. There's two stars that are orbiting each other very close together. And the neutron star, which is the denser, heavier star, is slowly stripping the other star apart. So it's taking the gas from that star and it's bringing it onto its surface and, turning it into itself. So kind of eating up the other star. And that's why they've been called these black widows or redbacks.
Wow.
It's very interesting.
Really interesting.
Daniel, I wanted to know, I mean, I'm going to deviate here a little bit, but how often do you come across spider stars? And I assume this is not something you can see with the naked eye.
No. So as I said, you need to detect it with a very sensitive radio telescope. So something with a very big collecting area. The radio telescope Meerkat has 64 dishes, all of which are 13 meters across. So it's a very, very big telescope and very, very sensitive. They're not something you can see with your naked eye. But neutron stars are relatively common. We know of thousands of them. But ones with companions like this, and which are undergoing this process where they're eating the other companion is quite rare. There are not many of them that have been identified. And then be able to sort of identify them and then look at them over time and try and work out exactly what's going on. It really takes a lot of effort. So it's not something that's very common.
Where to from here? What does the discovery of this unusual star mean for science?
Generally, what we're doing when we are looking at these star systems is we're trying to understand the life cycle of stars. So we want to see how stars are formed, how they evolve over billions of years, and then how they die. And from that, we can learn different things about where we've come from, the elements that make us up. So, for example, we learned just a few years ago in 2017 that all of the gold and platinum that we know of, so your jewelry and your rings and whatever else, all of the gold that we have on Earth was made in an explosion of a neutron star. So neutron stars are quite interesting, and from that we can learn about sort of the quantities of different elements. We can learn about the things that make us up as human beings, and from that we can kind of understand a little bit more about the universe and how things have come to be and ultimately life.
Well, this has certainly been very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Kanema, for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
And he is always keeping us up to date with all of the latest news when it comes to space discoveries.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daniel Kanema, for that bit of information around those spiders. Time for us to take a final look at the news headlines, starting off here at home in South Africa, where South Africa's wine industry yesterday asked the court to allow the main wine-growing region to exempt itself from a ban on the sale of alcohol that was reinstated last month to ease the pressure on hospitals during the COVID-19 pandemics. Vinpro, which represents wine producers and sellers, said it had approached the Western Cape High Court to seek interim relief from the ban, which would allow the Premier of the Western Cape to regulate the sale of liquor in the province. The case is expected to be heard in court next week. South Africa's leading expert on the COVID-19 pandemic and chair of the government's coronavirus advisory panel, Professor Salim Abdul Karim, yesterday urged wealthier nations not to hoard vaccine supplies. He described such behavior as unacceptable and warned, quote, that no one is safe until everyone is safe. He said that there's really no end game that sees one country succeeding in controlling the virus while the rest of the world is dealing with rampant spread. And he said that there really is no reason that a country already starts vaccinating low-risk young people when Africa hasn't even started. In international news, Finland's electric taxi service Nopea Ride expects to more than triple its fleet in Kenya's capital this year, helping to reduce emissions from Nairobi's notorious traffic. Environmental experts said that the electric vehicles are a welcome step towards reducing pollution-related health problems and fighting global warming. This as green technology adoption is rapidly growing in Kenya, where the government's electricity producer has spent hundreds of millions of dollars drawing geothermal energy from the volcanic Rift Valley. Now, this already provides almost half of the country's energy grid. Scientists of the University of Exeter in the UK said that the sharks and rays are disappearing from the world's oceans at an alarming rate. They say that the number of sharks in open oceans has plunged by 71% over half a century. This was mainly due to overfishing, which not only jeopardizes the health of the entire ocean ecosystems, but also food security for some of the world's poorest countries. 3/4 of the species studied now are threatened with extinction. Now, the scientists say that immediate action is needed. And now the latest news from Kataza, or rather on Kataza, Cape Town's beloved baboon. South Africa's most famous baboon, Cape Town's beloved Kataza, is doing fine since arriving at the Riverside Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre in Limpopo last weekend. It was in his best interest to relocate him, and the SPCA said last week, citing he had now continued to raid residential homes and failed to integrate with any of the baboon troops in the close vicinity. Baboon Solutions founder Terry Kaur said that Kataza was very comfortable in his specially designed travel box, and on arrival in Limpopo was immediately placed in his quarantine enclosure, where he will remain for the next 40 days. And latest news is that he has settled in very well. He's in good health and has a healthy appetite, particularly favouring papaya at the moment, which is his favourite thing to eat. And Riverside Centre's chief Maya Sventer said that Kataza was now in a safe place, surrounded by people who care for him and who have welcomed him with open arms. And we wish Kataza the very best in his new home. He deserves to be happy and live a normal baboon life in the wild. That's where we leave it for this morning. Here's Graham with a final look at sports.
Thanks so much, T. Well, it seems they have steadied the ship. We kick it off with Cobras here. Of course, in our domestic cricketing action, playing out, the Warriors beat the Cape Cobras by 81 runs based on the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method in the Momentum One Day Cup Pool B at Semnes Park in Potchefstroom yesterday. Opener Matthew Bretzka hitting 55 and Setembe Kashile reaching 64 not out to help the Warriors post 226 for 6 in their rain-reduced 44 overs. Cape Cobras failed to reach their target after being bowled out for just 148. There'll be one one-day cup fixture to look out for today. That's the Lions doing battle against the Warriors at 10 a.m. On to local football. A 10-man Mamelodi Sundowns edged out Black Leopards 2-1 at the Toyondu Stadium in Limpopo in the Premier Soccer League last night. Peter Shalolile scoring a brace for the defending champions, with the winner coming during injury time. Masnadawana now remain at the top of the PSL standings. That's 3 points ahead of SuperSport United and Swallows FC in second and third place respectively. That Premier Soccer League action will continue tomorrow. Then a little further afield, bottom of the table, Sheffield United, on a bit of a run at the moment, caused a major midweek English Premier League upset after stunning team of the moment, Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford late last night. So the Red Devils needed a win to regain that top spot in the league from Manchester City, but goals by Kean Bryan and Oliver Burke confirming the victory for the Blades, who do though still remain at the bottom of the standings despite their win. Other results from last night. Everton and Leicester couldn't find a difference. They drew 1-1, and then Chelsea, under the new management of coach Thomas Tuchel, they were held to a goalless draw up against Wolves. Big one tonight in the Premier League. It's Tottenham Hotspur hosting defending champions Liverpool at 10 p.m. Both teams desperately needing a win. That's a wrap of your sport for this morning. Let's take one last look at the weather.
Yes, we are wrapping up your weather report for the morning by rounding up our sunrise contributions sent in by you, our lovely viewers. Now, we started with a beautiful sunrise sent in by a regular, Ntokozo Theo Makatini from Johannesburg, followed by Bezisa Pezi Nkeba from East London, showing the sun rising in the distance over the ocean. Another one that came through from Luis G. Sherry sent the stunning photo showing the Johannesburg city skyline. And then last but definitely not least, Serena M. Sher from Langa also posted a beautiful image of the sun rising over the sea. Again, thank you so much to everyone that took the time to share their part of the country with us. We really do love seeing the start to your day, so please continue sharing those sunrise pictures on the Expresso Facebook page. Now, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, almost 2/3 of people around the world now view climate change as a global emergency. That has been the key finding from the largest opinion poll yet conducted on tackling global warming. More than 1 million people in 50 countries took part in the survey, with almost half the participants aged between 14 and 18. Conserving forest and land emerged as the most popular solution for tackling the issue. The poll, called the People's Climate Vote, was organized by the United Nations Development Programme in conjunction with Oxford University. The organizers distributed poll questions through adverts in mobile gaming apps across 50 countries between October and December last year. On that note, let's have a final look at the temperatures for South Africa. We kick it off with Polokwane. Your low is 18 today with a maximum of 26. Of course, thunder showers are expected for you. Omabela does range from 18 to 25 and rain expected. Pretoria 17, 25. Johannesburg, a low of 15 and a high of 23 can be expected. Mahikeng 19, 27. Klerksdorp, a minimum of 18 and a maximum of 27. Kimberley, for you, it is 16, 28. And if you do find yourself in Bloemfontein today, expect a low of 15 and a high of 23 with thunder showers coming through as well. Richards Bay 20, 22 with a 47% chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg 17, 21. South Africa's playground at Durban ranges from 21 to 24. Mthatha ranges from 13 to 21. And then East London coming through with a low of 17 and a high of 23. Cradock, your low is 13 with a high of 28. The friendly city of Port Elizabeth, PE, ranges from 16 to 24 and lots of sunshine coming your way. George 13, 22. The mother city, Cape Town, ranges from about 13 to 22. Worcester 9, 34. Sutherland 8, 27. And then last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 17 to 35. It's going to be a beautiful day across the country, but whatever you do, make sure to have a feel-good kind of day.
Well, no matter what the weather is looking like in your part of the country, yes, be sure to make it a feel-good type of day. And hopefully we've already set the tone for you here on your Feel-Good Breakfast Show, because we've got Sanele Mkhize in the house. His voice has completely filled our studio and hopefully is permeating straight into your living rooms with all of the joy and all of the love that you expect from your Feel-Good Breakfast Show. And here he is performing a hit, an absolute hit from his EP, which can be downloaded on all digital platforms. It's called Themba Njalo. Sanele, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
Kukhona isikhathi la ungazi wenze njani, ungazi uzothathana uphinde uhlanganise nani, kodwa khona impendulo ephakathi kwakho. Themba njalo indeni uyahlukana kunenxaba nowekhaya, abantwana esikoleni keep on struggling over and over, but there's a light that shines so bright, and that's within your soul. When I take my jalo. In this life, there's so many things that seem too hard. Situations where there is no choice but to fight. Ulwele impilo yakho kanye nempumelelo wena themba njalo. In this life there's so many things that seem too hard. Situations where there is no choice but to fight. Ulwele impilo yakho kanye nempumelelo. Oh, themba njalo, themba njalo, themba njalo. Ungalahli themba, themba njalo. Wena bambelela, wena qenisela. Wena beka ithemba lakho, themba njalo. Ungalahli themba, themba njalo. Ubobambelela, yeah. Ungalahli themba, ungalahli. Ungalingi ulahli themba, ungalingi ulahli themba, themba, themba. Ungalingi ulahli themba, ungalingi ulahli themba, themba. Njalo ungalinge, ungalahli themba, ungalahli themba. Wena hlala njalo, ubambelele kuzolunga, ubambelele kuzolunga. Yeah, yeah. Come on, clap your hands. Ungalingi ulahli themba, ungalahli themba. Hey, ungalahli themba. Yeah, yeah. Ungalahli themba, oh, hlala njalo.
Hey! Woo! Yeah!
Looking for fantastic health and weight loss benefits without a lifestyle change or being on a diet? Well, Shapeline 50 Billion from Proven Probiotics is the first ever probiotic to offer scientifically proven weight loss, while at the same time boosting immune and digestive health. That's why we think Shapeline 50 Billion may well be the world's most effective probiotic. Available at Dis-Chem and Clicks.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still locked in at your Feel Good, and we are in the office about to shake and bake. You know what time it is. Now, a strong core will make you a better and stronger swimmer. Now, swimming is, of course, a sport that engages your entire body, and it also plays a very, very big part in the role of how well we move and how our bodies move in the water, right? So a strong and firm core helps you to pull, push, and kick through water with absolute ease. And this morning, extreme swimmer Ryan Stramrud is joining us for this quick and easy, no equipment core workout. Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm nervous.
It was really good again chatting to you earlier in the show, but I got to ask you, when it comes to your training routine, apart from swimming, what is it that you focus on the most, kind of just to get you and keep you in shape for those crazy swims that you do in there?
Yeah, so my training is always a lot of mental stuff. I've got to get into the cold and prepare and you know, get my body conditioned. But then, as you say, you need the core work. You really do. I do tons of work on the shoulders there. I'm quite fit, but the core is where I need the most work. So I'm nervous for today. But that's what I need to.
All right, so let's have some fun. So we're going to go on the ground to start off with, right? But I think it's quite a good point that you did mention. A lot of swimmers, a lot of athletes look at the main muscle groups. So like you said, I'm a swimmer, so I'm going to train my arms. But we forget about this important part, which is the core. So I thought I'd see what you think about this workout that I put together for anybody that is a budding swimmer that wants to try replicate what you have done, or even is maybe attempting their first swim, all right? So let's get down on the ground and let's get down to business, okay? So I'm going to start off with the obliques, okay? So this is the muscle on the side of the body. It's those Levi lines, and it really helps with just that rotational strength and keeping us structured. So we're going to lie on our side. We've got our elbow down on the ground, and essentially we're going to go into a side bridge. So you, Mzansi, joining in at home, make sure you're holding a nice straight line. I don't want to have or see any bends in your leg. Nice and straight. You've got your feet on the ground, and now we're going to lift our hips into the air. Keep that hand up. Let's go for one rep. All right, so now while we're in this position, you can already feel the shoulder shaking a little bit, stabilization. Maybe not you, but me and the rest of Mzansi will feel it, not like Aquaman over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to step this up a little bit more. So if you want to start on level 1, holding this for 45 seconds, 15 seconds off is already a challenge, right? But if you want to step it up and make it even harder, you can bring your hips down to the ground, tap the ground, straight back in the air. Now lift your leg up in the air for an extra stimulation and back down. This is where you're going to shake them, Zanzi.
It hurts.
Even Aquaman says it hurts. So yes, we're challenging him, finally. All right, let's try one more time. So we go down onto the ground, back up in the air. Now lift the leg up, hold it for a second, and straight back down. And oh, Mzansi, I'm telling you, you're going to get a burn. How's it feeling over there?
Yeah, good.
Are we actually
working?
Feel
a little shake starting to happen.
Nice. All right. Okay. So the rest of it is exactly the same thing on the other side. We won't do it now just for the sake of time. But Mzansi, you guys at home, 45 seconds on each side. So 45 seconds on the left, 45 seconds on the right with a 15-second break, and then we move over to our next exercise. So let us step onto our buttocks. And for the sake of all these exercises, what we're going to first focus on is balancing in the air. So having our legs and our arms in the air. It's nice and simple. It's a basic core exercise, and this is the first part of the activation that's really important. Now, what we're going to do, if you are struggling to stay in this position, you're more than welcome to put your hands down on the side of the ground, but obviously you want to work your way up to not needing to support your hands. Goal number 1, and check at me shaking over here, Ryan. I'm just trying to hold this
Good,
here.
I'm glad.
So we're working. So what we're going to do is something called flutter kicks, which I thought is quite cool for especially swimmers, working on that timing and working on the leg drive when it comes to your swimming, your coordination, and of course getting the core to help you with your kicks in the water. I don't know about you, but there's a very important element when it comes to timing your swimming stroke and the timing of your kicks. So this is really, really important, and it's not just upper body. In this position, once again, Ryan, I see you don't even need the assistance, so well done to you. You're already on level 2. I'm going to keep my hands on the side here. Now what we're going to try to do is something called bicycles, but they're controlled. And again, we're working those adductors, which is a really great muscle to allow the extension of the leg to flutter and kick more effectively. Right, so what we're doing is, again, supporting yourself if you need to, but otherwise, the goal is not to. And we're literally going to stand with our lying down with our legs straight in front of us off the ground, hands behind your head. From here, you want to touch opposite elbow, opposite leg, back to restart. Same thing again on the other side, back to restart. So we're not racing. It's really slow, it's really controlled, and it's really going to burn. I can guarantee you that. I know Ryan doesn't feel it, but I definitely do. And of course, once again, you're going for 45 seconds on of this, and it's great stuff. It's a quick, effective workout as well. We've done 3 exercises already, and that'll take you up to about 3 minutes. Your last exercise for the day, really simple. And this is something that I actually learned when I was lifesaving. And I don't know if you use it a lot in the ocean, but whenever you get taught how to ride a wave, you kind of need to hollow out on your body and create that hollow hold position.
The body surfing,
Obviously, your hands are behind you in the air, so we're going to try to replicate that in the reverse position. So lying on the ground, what we're going to try and simulate is a hollow hold, catching a wave, but our feet and our hands are in the air. Does that make sense? So pretending I'm upside down. Mzansi, you guys are going to do the same, and this is a great exercise to help you become a board that can ride that wave in the ocean. All right, you want to come and join them with me? So 45 seconds of the following. Hands are straight behind your back. You're holding that. Your feet are out. And don't mind me. It's not the cameraman shaking. It's actually me because I'm absolutely stimulating that core, man. Right, I got to ask you one last question for everybody that's watching, seeing these incredible records that you're making. What can we expect next from you, brother?
Stronger abs for sure. But yeah, you're gonna hopefully you're gonna see a bit more of me end of February, March, where I'm hoping to take on a big challenge, a big swimming challenge. Which is kind of ultra-distance stuff right here in Cape Town in some scary waters. Not going to completely reveal it, but I'm sure everyone can join the dots.
I think you guys can join the dots, of course. That's Ryan, the man of the year, potentially. Go vote for him on our social media channels and stick around for some more magic on Expresso Show. Thank you for joining. Nice stuff, man. Let's go for more.
You already know what that sound means. It means JP Sebastian is in studio to let us know all about the amazing weekend movies you can expect on the SABC. JP Sebastian, looking so chilled in your white, crisp shirt.
I think this is me very self-conscious after that workout. Like, I'm hiding my moves as much as possible. Someday there will be a reveal, South Africa, not today.
Well, maybe we could try that workout while watching the movie. Killing two birds with one stone.
I'm so impressed that Ryle keeps speaking through all of that. Like, I swear, if I was swimming to Robben Island with the guy, I'd be like, let me drown. I can only concentrate on the fact that I'm dying on this swim right now. But you're like, oh, doesn't it feel great on your obliques? And I'm just like, yes, like this would feel great in a coffin, Ryle.
It's taken him years to train like that, and it's taken you years to be a critique. So let Ryle stick with fitness, you stick with movies.
I feel like there was so much air quotes around being a critic. I mean, I think you mean like, it's taken me years to be a critic. Like, the air quotes are down here. I've got a poop, South Africa, I don't care.
It's okay. Like G says, you're beautiful in your own right. So listen,
thanks, Mom.
Tell us about the movies. I, Daniel Blake.
Yes, this is tomorrow on SABC 3, 9:30 p.m. And I, Daniel Blake is directed by a guy named Ken Loach. Ken Loach is like a god in cinema of the everyman story. Common man, blue-collar, working class, which is just really a heck of a refresher when you consider that 90% of movies are made about, like, she had the perfect career, but she didn't have the perfect guy. Or, like, the guy has the perfect home, but he just lost his job. So, like, whereas 90% of people on Earth actually can't afford a movie ticket. So Ken Loach makes these movies for you in a way. Daniel Blake is this guy who just suffers a heart attack. You can see he's a dude your dad's age. He was working just fine as a joiner, as a carpenter, and after this heart attack, his doctor tells him, look, I can't let you go back to work in this condition. You need to heal. State, however, comes along and does a work capability test and says, no, you're just fine. If you don't go back to work, you lose all your benefits. So Ken Loach has a lot to say about the rigmarole. Shame. Look at this old man, by the way. First time using a computer, told to move the cursor up the screen. Shame. I've probably seen my dad do that too.
I was going to say, it reminds me of Patricia Domberg right there. She would do the exact same thing.
And like, these are the hoops that like normal people are expected to jump through. That minor thing, as well as you have to fill in the pink form, then the blue form, then you have to go to this privatized company that now handles your welfare where it used to be the state, etc., etc. So it's all these barriers and hoops and hurdles to just trying to live a dignified human life in Britain, where it's set in present day. Along the way, he meets a young lady who has 2 kids, and she's a single mom. She's at the job center with him. All the while, she's trying to shoplift as well for her kids' food. A statistic that people don't know, by the way, is that baby formula is one of the most shoplifted things in the world. We've made a disgusting, disgusting planet, and Ken Loach has something to say about it. I, Daniel Blake, is going to have all your cylinders firing to think about whether you want to live in a country or a planet or a world where we hose down people who are just trying to collect a welfare check.
And I can understand why baby formula is, because it's expensive out there. But listen, we have another movie to get through. The Dragon Missile is also another one. Why are you
Now
laughing?
please switch off your brains, all those cylinders I just spoke about, because The Dragon Missile is a kung fu movie from 1976, and these are tons of fun. I'm just so happy that SABC One does these. Like, there's someone at SABC One who has control over the choice of movies. They lock the door, people are trying to kick it in, and he's like, no, I just want to show old Chinese movies, and that's what it's about on a Friday at 9 p.m. on SABC One. The Dragon Missile, as you can see, is a thing that has no time for trees, no time for limbs, which we won't show in this trailer. Holy nuts! I can't even say the word I wanted to say there. This is one of the most ruthless kung fu movies I've seen. If you have an arm, the Dragon Missile's taking it. Standing on one leg, hey, it's going to take the other one. Dragon Missile takes no prisoners, and this is Lo Lie, who's the lead there. This guy previously was in, you must know, Jamie, the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, right? No? Okay, anyway. So Ho Meng Hua, sorry, this is the director of the movie.
Are you swearing?
I need, I don't know, someone to bleep these for me or do the dub, the English dub, why not? Yes, I'm just so pleased to see SABC One show any of this kind of stuff. I'm not even going to tell you what the storyline's about, but the dude is quite an interesting hero because he's the anti-hero in this. He's just a hired gun, or a hired dragon missile in this case, and there are a bunch of gangs after him who want this special medicine that he's transporting for his boss. His boss then turns against him, so now he's against the gangs and his own boss. He's not necessarily a likable guy, but he's got 2 dragon missiles, and that's all you need to know. I've said that word so many times, so I'm just so excited to see this. Seriously, you've all had a hard week, probably half of us at least, and you all deserve to see The Dragon Missile at 9 p.m. on Friday on SABC One. Super excited about it.
You know what I love about you is that you said, I'm not going to give you the storyline, and then 3 seconds later you like go into the full storyline, just explain everything.
Barely. This is like a 2-hour movie, like you don't, like there's no amount of information you need to know. Look at the poster, like how are you not sold immediately? You honestly need to read a synopsis. Who can even say the word synopsis? I mean, like if I say it third time, I don't know, my brain will fall out my ear. However, so keen for this. I love these movies so much. People seem to think I'm sophisticated and intelligent. You've got me wrong this whole time.
Well, listen, it looks like our Friday has been set. JP Sebastian is still here with some more movies we can expect on the SABC this weekend. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a moment.
Yeah, he does his own sound effects, and he's back. Grant Hines is here to talk tech. The annual Consumer Electronics Show showcases trends in tech and what's new in electronics and gadgets. And we now look forward to the coming years. It gives us a great sense of where we're at. Grant Hines joins us to take a look at some of the weirdest ones that we might actually want. These aren't gratuitous, they're just strange.
Well, it's really important because, you know what? I was at CES last year, which was, wow, it's hosted in Vegas. I can't believe that it was at the beginning of the year in 2020 and I got to travel. Like, that's bonkers to me.
Live on that memory, live on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm holding on to. No, CES is this really exciting space because it's where all this experimental technology, all the consumer electronics that people are kind of playing around with, ranging from like the most experimental to the ones that we're probably going to be seeing a lot of.
In the next kind of year or so.
In the next year, a couple of years. So this year was particularly interesting. I think everyone's, you know, it was all done remotely, so everybody got to live stream it and enjoy it. And there's a bunch of technology. I like it. It's like the back alley technology.
I love that.
Razer announced a face mask that they're calling Project Hazel, which is it's like a gamer, Razer, a gaming company. So it's like this gamer face mask. It's got ultraviolet light in it that like disinfects it. Ooh. It's got microphones, speakers that, like on the outside so that you can talk and people can hear you. It's got like the N95 grade respirators. It's got RGB, like that, of course it's a gamer thing. And then it's got a clear mouthpiece so that you can see people's mouths.
I didn't realize how much I actually need to see a person's mouth.
Right?
Just about every time anyone talks to me now, I'm like, sorry, what? Sorry, what? I take visual cues. That's
body language.
That's really
body
cool,
language is important. So they're trying to include that stuff into the mask, which is really cool. I don't know if this is going to pick up.
Yeah.
Who knows how much it's going to cost?
Let's hope we won't need it. But I mean, people are talking about us needing masks in perpetuity now. So.
We'll learn different ways of body. There are lots of body language we can use besides our lips.
Yeah, look, it certainly meets a need. Love it. What's next?
So the next thing is rollable phones. This is a thing that's potentially coming out.
Rollable phones.
So OLED is a technology that we have in a lot of our TVs, which helps it bend and so on. You get like curved TVs and all that.
Yeah.
So, and also foldable phones that you've seen. So foldable phones fold in the middle, right? Like it has a bending motion. So rollable phones are the ability to take that screen and roll it like toilet paper.
Whoa.
So you can expand the screen instead of folding it. Like, there's so many ways to fold something. We always just thought it was going to be like this. But like now we can fold it around like a rollable thing and then expand the screen. So that's a new form of technology that's coming out. And there's a new thinking away, a new approach to devices. So we're working with tablets now. Imagine you could fold this or like roll this tablet into something like a phone.
Take us into the home.
So this thing, I don't know if this is going to pick up. This is ridiculous. Robots for the home. So robots that are going to it's the most literal explanation of a robot for a home that I've ever heard of. It's like a robot that like has a hand and it like can pour wine for you. It can like as you can see, it can weigh for you.
Why did you use that as the first example? It can pour wine for you, for me. Well,
like, because I thought that's like a practical thing. Look, it's doing the dishes and packing a dishwasher. It's just like, there's so many things that robots can do, and you thought of the most literal way to do a robot.
No, but that's all good. It'll pack in the most logical way as well. And I have great frustrations about
Look, it's pouring wine for you.
There we go. Thank you. And it's bringing you a flower to show that it cares.
Look,
I dig it, man. I dig it. They could have given it 2 arms.
I think it's
that's
Look, that's an interesting. Look, it's experimental. We'll see where it goes. That's something that Samsung might be investing in. A lot of these things are kind of like tech that they will do something exciting with, but they have to like play around with that tech first.
If history has taught us anything, these will come about at some point in some way or form.
Yeah, it's a concept car.
Smart makeup.
So smart makeup is a really hard one. Basically, there's a device that you can put on your face now that can read your skin tone and tell you what colors that you need to apply to your face so that you get like really good skin tone. It would be great for the TV show, for instance. This is a great application for it. And
don't worry, Bernice, you're not out of a job yet. You're not out of a job yet, girl.
So that's one thing. And then also, like, obviously the color and light outside, you can change the way your face looks. Or for an event at night. You know, I think that's where this is going to shine. Obviously, there's so many different light lightings that you are in every single day. It's going to be hard to like measure your skin tone with a light source and then find the perfect color for that. But I think that if you're going to an event like the Oscars and you want, like, you know, that's a stock standard lighting that's going to be there, or flash lighting and like in the hall, and it'll tell you what will be the best makeup for you so that you can apply it at home, which is cool.
Robot, please pour this man a drink. He's earned it. Please pour him a drink. Absolutely awesome stuff. We'll get into more amazing tech. Stick around.
The tech is so cool. I'm just waiting for one new tech, and an upgrade would be someone that could be in the kitchen and technology and a robot that would just make food for me without me worrying. But now, of course, as an athlete, you need to obviously pay careful attention to nutrition, and especially when preparing for any competition. So a hot topic, a lot of people are not very aware of what its purpose actually is, but carbohydrates are, in fact, a very important source of fuel for the body, and it's particularly important when it comes to muscle building. So many endurance athletes will find that veg and carbs help in preparing for competitions. So extreme swimmer Ryan Stramrud is joining us in the kitchen and is going to prepare a delicious tomato, basil, and pappardelle pasta dish. Ryan, are you ready for this, man?
I'm ready.
So we know you can swim, we know you can work out, we know you can interview, so we thought let's just test him one more time in the kitchen and see what he's made of.
You guys are putting me to the test, but you know what? This is quite an easy recipe, and it's an absolute perfect thing for what I need and what I eat. So first, should we get going?
Yeah, let's start it up. And then
pan is preheated. This thing is super hot. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil.
All right.
Always choose the healthier option oil.
Looks hot.
Yeah, no, that is properly hot. I think this pan's been going for quite some time. Then we're going to add some tomatoes, various colors, just to make it look pretty and obviously taste lekker. And we're going to move these around. I'm going to turn this pan down a little bit.
Nice.
I love that. I want to get a little bit of color on these tomatoes. Maybe not as much color as I'm getting right now, but
now, obviously, I
like them just to open up a little bit and you know, produce their juices into the mix.
Okay, I got you. So I see you've got a nice little bit of a browning on the side, soft on the inside.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're using color as well, which means there's extra nutrition. You've got some a good energy source there as well. But a question for me is this something that you're always eating? I mean, you as an extreme athlete, you need a lot of energy. So
Indeed.
Is this a standard meal that you prepare?
Pasta for me, absolutely, in various forms. I'm a big pasta fan, and you know, you can often feel your body craving something, and it usually pings on pasta for me.
Yeah,
and you know it's the right stuff. Right, so before these get too hot, I'm going to add in, we've chosen a pappardelle pasta. It's quite a thick one, so that gives you that extra carb, but you can use whichever pasta you like, clearly.
All right.
So we're going to just throw this in. Right.
And again, I must just add to the value of this, the fact that we're using something like a complex carb and not a simple carb. It really helps with an athlete. So your simple carbs are going to just give you that quick spike insulin, but with a complex carb like this, it's a longer chain, which gives you that sustained energy, which I would imagine someone for you, when you're putting in over half an hour of work, that long, slow, low-release GI energy is exactly what you want.
Indeed, you know a lot more than me, but you know, my training on Monday was a 5-hour swim, 16 kilometers. So you know, it's not half an hour in my game. So you need to think very carefully of that before you jump in the water, because you don't get out and eat halfway. Once you're in, you're in. So you need that slow release. You don't want to get hungry.
And I mean, it's a cold session. You're pushing it. So what then, after a session like that in the ocean, what's kind of like your go-to meal?
I listen to my body, and I'm going to confess, I'm not always that healthy after I've done a very big swim, because you also want to treat yourself a little bit for that mental aspect. So quite often when I'm really battling, I visualize that cheat meal that I'm going to have when I get out. So I have whatever I want, to be honest, but if I want to keep it healthy, then I will have something similar to this.
We were just chatting to Jamie early in the studio, and she was like, I want to live your life, Ryan. You get to eat carbs and all this food. And I'm like, well, if you swam 114 Robben Island swims, you could definitely eat like this. And I think that's an important topic. The fact that you burn so many calories and so much in that session allows you to eat probably the whole pot.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that now. I'm just going to add the pesto.
I'm distracting you way too much. You're never going to finish this meal. You carry on, though.
You know, a proper chef doesn't like distractions like this, but I'm trying to multitask. You know, I'm in the kitchen, I'm a male, I'm doing my thing. So we're going to mix this in quite nicely. Now, what you can also do is add a little bit of water, just to make it almost like into a sauce so it doesn't get too dry. Just a drop to your taste. Nice sizzle going on there.
Oh, and the smells coming through right now of that pesto.
And I've forgotten what I was going to answer you, Ralph.
No, so I was just saying, you're kind of go-to after a session. You were saying you can afford to eat anything.
Correct. So what I want to also just clarify, you know, I mean, when you're getting in cold water as often as you do, you actually need some body fat. So I'm not always striving to be completely lean and mean. That doesn't work well in the cold water. You need a little bit of insulation. So I try and break even where I am at the moment. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But, you know, as you get older, it gets harder to keep this belly down.
I think going to steal that as well. They're going to say, well, no, I'm training for cold water. That's why I've got these layers on.
Indeed.
How are we doing over here with the meal, though, right?
Smelling absolutely brilliant. So we're actually pretty much done. Everything is looking good. Beautiful. But what I'm going to do is just add, you know, for some extra carbs, I'm adding pine nuts today. But you can add whatever. If you're really looking for that carb increase, you can go with croutons or anything else that up carbs it for you. Then we are simply going to mix that in a little bit. And it's just it's ready. It's as simple as that. It's quick and easy. And you've got a cool meal. You've got a little bit of parmesan there that you grate over afterwards, which also adds to the carbs. So this is one very good and healthy carb meal.
Oh, man.
And it'll look like that afterwards, the bowl that we showcased.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes, and you did it while having a conversation with me as well. But it's always an absolute great pleasure catching up with you, Ryan, man.
I'm a multitasker.
You are indeed. And the one last thing that I've got to do is probably steal that pot and taste this. So thank you so much for joining us today, man. It's been an absolute honor, and I genuinely am so excited, and I cannot wait for your next journey in the ocean, and I hope to see you there.
Great, thank you. Thanks for the support, guys, and thanks for allowing me into your kitchen today. I really appreciate it.
Grab me a plate there, man. Let's dig in, huh?
Yeah. This is for you, sir.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your feel-good breakfast show, and you're just in time to find out what hot movies is going to be playing on the SABC this weekend. JP Sebastian is here with his crisp white shirt, and also the dance moves I saw.
No one needs to see that. I have a police restraining order against me for dancing in public. Like, if it happens again,
so why did I get to see it?
Because you're special. I don't know. That's what I told them. Like, all of my victims, I usually start with you're special, and then I start doing the robot, and it's horrible for everyone around.
Listen, we have to get into this movie.
Probably we have to talk
And I'm not going to say the first name.
Tapat is the first one.
Tapat?
Yes. JP's, sorry, I'm presuming that is correctly how you say it, although yes, I did.
I'm going to leave it to you.
It is a Bollywood movie. And what's great about this is that usually when we get these Bollywood imports, it definitely has to be a 3-hour-long dancing fest, and it's bright and it's colorful and whatever, but...
That's why you were dancing.
Of course, you know me, I love the Bollywood movies. But it's not often that we get like stuff that's just straight drama. Stuff that's just straight, like, thoughtful, and that's largely because you want to bring to South Africa just the stuff that's sold really well domestically. But like any other country, they make all sorts of movies, and this one is quite a change in the game, I think, compared to what we're used to. So it is the story of a young woman and a guy. And he's just landed the dream role in his job, and he's about to fly to England, and so they're having this party. However, she gets tapat, which is the meaning of which is slap. So interestingly, the title, like, it's just like, oh, it's just a slap. It's not like the movie's called The Abused or something like that, because she goes through this entire personal rigmarole of, well, is it okay that this happened? That my husband, who I thought I knew all these years, someone who I lived with, someone who I grew up with in a way, like, you know, we nurtured each other this whole time, turned violent when he found out the bad news about his job, that he's not going to be going to London. So I think that's quite different from a lot of the other movies that we've seen like this, and they're valid in their own way too. When Jennifer Lopez Fez goes, no, I'm going to take up boxing and then I'm going to the sky with my hands and my legs and stuff like that. And that's great, and that's also valid that women should defend themselves. But I don't know if we have enough movies where someone just goes through the torment of maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was being too mouthy, or these other horrible things people say about, you know, people who deserved their abuse or something like that.
Now she's becoming the victim. Now she's playing into the
Doubting
fact
herself.
that maybe she deserved that.
Or that she can walk it off and that the relationship can continue. It obviously also doesn't neglect his side of the story as well, like how he examines himself. Does he delude himself that, well, you know, it's a once-off thing or whatever? The drama will unfold, however, on SABC3 at 2:30 p.m. See for yourself. Obviously, in a country like South Africa, let's really have these sort of conversations and really be honest with ourselves, especially men. Like, I know if I was capable of something like this, I'd be like, that's not the person I want to be. Maybe your partner should leave you. Maybe you have growth to do, stuff like that. But this movie, though I don't, necessarily place the weight of the world on the shoulders of movies to be the silver bullet to solve the world's problems, it did, however, have a lot of sort of awareness posters put up out, even inside police stations, where it raised so much public awareness and started enough of a stirring conversation about gender-based violence that it got people talking. So, maybe it gets South Africans talking too.
When did you say this is taking place?
That is SABC3 at 2:30 p.m.
Tomorrow?
Oh, sorry, Sunday.
Sunday,
Of course,
okay,
we work by days. Sorry, since 2020, I work in 1 year.
Everything is one big movie. Okay, listen, Mission Impossible 3. Tell us all about it. We got Tom Cruise coming through for this one.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. And this is the debut film of J.J. Abrams, who's a much more popular director name now. He did of these new Star Wars movies, he did the first and the third one. So he's quite... And you might remember the TV series Lost. That's where he really made his presence felt.
JP, did we not get a balance that sometimes I don't know these things?
Sorry.
But I'm learning and I'm trying.
A dancer at heart, not a TV viewer. Philip Seymour Hoffman, God bless his soul, God rest his soul as well. One of the greatest actors we've ever had. And then Tom Cruise. No, shame. I love Tom Cruise as well. he's what a consummate entertainer, this dude. What a lot of people don't know about these movies is that when their budget overruns, when they've gone over deadline, Tom Cruise goes, look, here's my wallet. I'm paying for this movie to finish, and in a way that is satisfactory for the audience. They don't just go, oh, well, let's cut this exciting scene, let's remove this, or, cut that or whatever. He's so devoted to putting a smile on your face, getting your adrenaline pumping. And in Mission Impossible 3, it's sort of similar to Mission Impossible 2, which SABC1 also showed last weekend, that there's this biological weapon attack possibility, or is it chemical? We'll find out. It's called a rabbit's foot. But Philip Seymour Hoffman is the bad guy. Like I said, one of the greatest actors we've ever had, and he's threatening the world with this new type of weapon. Tom Cruise now has this new dimension of he has a wife, and so the fight turns personal because Philip Seymour Hoffman, I'm not calling by his character name because he's that good an actor, threatens the personal life as well as the world. So Tom Cruise has to make these choices. Hilariously, this movie thought this is the one where the character will retire with his wife, but Tom Cruise probably laughed at the writers and then jumped out the window, because we'll see Mission Impossible 7 later this year, probably. No, not even as a joke. It's 25 years that these movies have been running, and they've all largely been good.
I'm trying to breathe because JP Sebastian gave us so much to look forward to for this weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know what movie you will be checking out this weekend. Expresso Morning Show. SABC3 is where you can get in on that conversation.
Dum, 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 dum.
Now, Mission Impossible, Tobiso singing. Dun, dun, dun. No, it's not Mission Impossible. He's actually gifted, Sanele. I promise you. You guys are mates. So, I don't know if you knew this about your friend, but he has an encyclopedic knowledge of songs. And we're going to put that to the test, okay? He's putting up a brave face.
It's a fact.
First of all, I'm going to compliment you on the most amazing tone to your voice. It's just ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely beautiful. The songs you've treated us to today have been wonderful. So thank you so much. Now we're going to terrorize you with a game of music.
Don't.
My friend. You're obviously singing is your business. It's your real house. So we're hoping that this has given you too an encyclopedic knowledge of song lyrics. So how Music Match works is I give you a word. You've got to sing a song with that word in the lyrics. It doesn't have to be named after that word. It can be any word that features in any song. Just dig deep into that massive cortex of yours. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And, of course, you're up against Tobiso, so please, put your best foot
I'll
forward.
probably have already lost the game. I'm just here to feel this chair.
He says that, but I sense a dark horse here.
You are so good at this.
No, I sense someone is coming in with the vibe today. All right, so I'm going to give you the chance to start. Okay? Cool. And this one should work from an R&B kind of feel and a vibe, okay? Our first word, ladies and gentlemen, is body.
Get me parted. get me party, get me party. That's Beyonce.
That is incorrect, factually and lyrically.
No, how?
Because the word is body. The lyrics of the song is get me bodied. Without the B-O-D-Y, it's not a point. What do you think?
Touch my body, put me on the floor, messing me around.
It's not how it works. You don't get it wrong and then say, oh, okay.
Points. I'm giving him 1.5 points, actually.
Yes, thank you.
I enjoyed that. 1.5, my friend. You're gonna have to be extra good.
Cool.
World.
Heal the world, make it a better place. Hey, for you and for me and the entire human.
Nice. I like it. You get points. I love it. Our next word, Sanele, is mirror.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2. Your time is up. Sorry.
Okay.
I even thought of what I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
I love
See,
that.
if I had a musical bone in my body, you would have picked up on my humming.
It was
I was
literally
out of tune.
Yeah.
All right. Feeling.
I've got this feeling inside my bones.
I feel like it's getting easy.
It goes electric
Words.
wavy, baby, when it's hey.
You got creative with it, but I'll give it to you. All right.
Yeah,
Come on,
man.
buddy. You got to fight back, and you got to fight back hard.
You're losing, eh?
Work.
5.
Wait.
I'll give him a mental gun.
Yes, work. It's
unfair.
Work. That's the one.
It is simply unfair to have members of the crew.
We're all one family, man. We're all one
Come
family.
on, come
Okay,
on.
I think you're going to like this one. Bad.
5, 4, 3.
Bad, cause I'm bad. You know it. Cause
He's getting easy words.
Yeah, really
Who's
bad.
that?
Okay, I'll give you one that you should know to round this off.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You're way too beautiful, girls. That's why you'll never work. You had me suicidal when you said it's over.
You know what, for this one, I'm going to call it a tie because you were both fantastic. Thank you for playing along. We're going to let you do what you do best.
Put it here.
In just a moment, Sanele Mkhize is going to be performing just for you. Don't go too far.
That was good.
That's all right.
Are you ready for a sizzling summer holiday in Mzansi? Your best holiday is yet to come when you book at any participating Marriott branded hotel. Redefine your holiday with a beach break, nature retreat, or a road trip adventure. With the Marriott Summer Holiday offer, you can enjoy 25% off standard hotel rates, including free breakfast if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member and 15% if you're a non-Bonvoy member. Book on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show with just a few minutes to go of your dose of Feel Good on this beautiful Thursday morning. Now, Sanele Mkhize's R&B and soul music has an air of spirituality, which we've connected to so much this morning. It's got a lot of worship to it as well, and he's embracing this in his unreleased project, which is all about gospel music. He's tapping into that gift and taking to our stage one more time to perform a song to sign us out. Here he is, Sanele Mkhize, with a brand new one. It's called Uyingcwele. Sanele, take it away, brother.
Thank you.
It's very simple. Sithi kuwena uyingcwele Jesu siphakamisa wena sithi kuwe Oh Lord Jesu siphakamisa igama lakho sithi wena uphakeme siyabonga somhlekazi siphakamisa udumo kuwe izibongo ngoba likho igama elihle njengelakho uyingcwele uphakeme ngoba likho igama Jesu Asimbonanga fana nawe uphakeme Jesu
Made with love by Clover.
Another Feel Good production.
Ngoba likho igama elihle njengelakho wena wethu uyingcwele unamandla Jesu siphakamisa igama lakho siphakamisa igama lakho siphakamisa igama lakho sithi uyingcwele bayede kuwe siphakamisa wena wedwa it's over.